this Dinah will go away. Oh, 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 my commanding wife, she wants to destroy my life. Oh, my commanding wife, she wants to destroy my life. Oh, oh, ah, ah. Oh, oh, ah, ah. Oh, oh, ah, ah. Oh, oh, ah, ah. Every day I hope and pray this Dinah will go away. Every day I hope and pray this Dinah will go away. Oh, oh, ah, ah, uh-huh. Oh, oh, ah, ah, mm-hmm. Oh, oh, ah,
about to work on your building of peace, love, and togetherness.
What got it cool? We on the tree, we got the one to blink, cause it's gonna remain the same. Cause I'm leaving on a westbound train. Yeah, the train of happiness is I will tell you. Mama, westbound train is I will tell you. The best and the test from east to west, called the westbound train. Baba train, Baba train, Baba train. To me, baby, let me tell you, I'm a leaving on a westbound train. I'm a leaving on a westbound train. To me, daddy, make you sure. I take the train, to the train, to the train, to the train. Why, daddy, you got to hear me when I tell you, I'm leaving on a westbound train. Say your baby got the one for me, the bleed, they got one pick, make me see, what you say. Why got it cool? You got it cool. living on the westbound train. Papa train, Papa train, Papa train, Papa train, Papa train, Papa train, Papa train. Yeah, on the westbound train, on the westbound train. Cool guys. You can check Mr. Wayne. Hey, you can check Mr. Wayne in the rain. I'm telling you, living on the westbound train. Yeah, I wanna take a plane. Yeah, you gotta make the movie say. Tell you on the westbound train. Do me baby. My train is bound way down west. Yeah. And our African style, you know, ain't no spoiling. I tell you about the westbound train. Say, I tell you about the choo-choo train on the westbound train. Do me daddy cool. Make believe, so you got to believe. Sounds gonna make you feel away groove. No, we you got to believe. When I tell you about the westbound train, choo-choo train, choo-choo train, choo-choo train. Yeah.
Number one station, your official station. You know, do it. Good gosh, Shakudan. Sound for the young and the old. So come and let the good time roll as your brother will tell you. Do it. To the edge of this step, but to the edge of this step, but to the edge of this step. Do it. Every move you make a distance. Every move you make a distance. Every move you make a distance. Good God, but if you rock down, and if you rock up, down, and if you rock, and if you rock, and if you rock all around, every move you make a distance. Good God, every move you make a distance. Shock with that. Hold this, let go that.
Yeah, Dread, where the man dog why?
Why you want to say, man, I'll check all the official data, you know.
Seen.
Officially, do it one time. Good God. Shock with that. No one to that, no one to. No one to that, no one to. Take your time with that, take your time. Take your time, dada, take your time. Good gosh, take your time, dada, take your time.
check. Early arrivals, sound check crew. Let me know. Early arrivals, you already know you are the sound check crew. Just say it sounds all right in the chat. That's all I got to hear. Good sound. Appreciate that, Rude Boy Soldier. Thank you very much. Big up, Rude Boy Soldier. That is 916 Junglist numero uno. And I appreciate all the support. He just subscribed 11 months at tier 1. And that's super dope, man. We're getting close to seeing more of these 11 and 12 month subscription lengths, and that's super awesome. I can't express enough how important it is that I let everybody know I really appreciate the support. It's super dope. Unbelievable, actually. As we approach 1 year of DJs Not DJing, celebrating it today on this special episode, I've had a lot of time to reflect on this past year, and there's been a lot of things that have happened, obviously, that landed me in this chair, basically. And what can I say? Without the support of everybody who watches this channel, it would not be possible. I completely freaked out a year ago when my calendar disappeared, like many of us out there, and the live events industry shut down, and we had no idea what to do with our skill set. And I guess the word is pivot. I pivoted into this forum, this platform, and this is where we are a year later. And I couldn't say that I couldn't be happier. Thank you very much, everybody. Big up to all those locking in. This is the 916 Junglist channel. If it's your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. This is a very special episode of DJs Not DJing. Very special. Oh, snap. We just got a raid. Man like Deep's raiding in the proper raid. Big up No Use for DJing crew. You think I wasn't watching? I had you guys on for a second while I was getting ready. Holy smokes, they're hitting us hard. Look at those donk emotes. Airstrike throwing out a 5-pack immediately. Funky Nikki with the follow, thank you. Base Free Fricks with the follow, thank you. Wow. Mary Stims, thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Gouda throwing out a tier 1. Spike, 11 months at tier 1. Here comes the hype. Gouda with the 5-pack. Strange Mana with the hundo. Deeps with the 5-pack. Norbot with the 2 hundo. Emotes are flying. My GPU's fucking melting right now, you guys. Thank you so much. Incredible. Cousin Peaches, what up? Thanks for the follow. Welcome. Normally this show's on Wednesdays at 6:16 p.m. Pacific, 9:16 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday. And I'm proud to say that we have not missed a single Wednesday. And that's super amazing. E-Rock with a 5-pack. Holy shit. You guys. Funky Nikki with the biddies. PLC with the 100 biddies. The love is real, y'all. The high, look at the hype with extra Y's and extra E's in that hype train. Hype! Like GQ says, DJ Hype. Hype! Train running. Pick up the 1-bit crew. I see you, no request. That's a gentleman's bit. Kirnabi with the hundo. Bleachin' 74 with the hundo. Spike with the hundo again. Jeez, man. Spike just throwing it in. Big up Catch 22 with the gentleman's bit. Appreciate y'all. Slight Optimus with the gentleman's bit. All nice. What up? Oh, here comes the bit pyramid. Y'all are crazy. Smashing this thing, man. Can we get to the show? I love y'all. Naughty Vibes throwing 5 hundo. Reverend Frunctology with the hundo. Thank you guys. The love is real. So when I wanted to get into this, the one thing that they say, I see y'all. Airstrike with the biddies. Man Like Deep with the gentleman's bit. Liz Smith with the 100 biddies. Thank you. One thing that I heard often was, if you want to do something, and this is not just in this space, this is in general. If you want to do something and be successful at it, then one of the things you need to do is you need to go out there and find who is influencing you, and understand what about those people influence you. And also, even though I'm not really great at this, come up with your GOAT list. Come up with your top 5. We get another raid. Darth Vader coming in with the raid. Holy smokes. What up, Darth Vader? Big up, Vader Raiders. Vader fam, I see y'all. Man, the love is so real. Paul Nice with the biddies. Airstrike with the biddies. Thank you. Big up, Raiders. What's happening? This is the 916 Junglist channel. You're inside a special episode of DJs Not DJing. If I know Fader, he sold you up on it before bringing you in. I appreciate y'all for sticking around if you do. My name's Billy Lane. We got a really special show. Welcome, Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Big up Knock. Big up Kitty White. Big up Paul Nice. Disarm Toe, I appreciate you. If I'm missing a shout out, it is not intentional. Just so y'all know. When it starts moving like this, it's not intentional. I literally just didn't see it. And the most messed up part about it is, and I got to bring MOJAXX in here. I'm sorry, MOJAXX. Sorry to keep you waiting, man. I'll bring you in just a second, I promise. The messed up thing about it, with the chat moving fast and you missing things, is that I kind of put off the vibe. And this is from me watching the show. I kind of put off the vibe that I'm not missing anything. And so it almost seems like if I miss you, I'm ignoring you on purpose. And that is definitely not the case. I literally did not see it. And on top of that, I'm not really acknowledging that I'm not seeing it very well. So I apologize in advance now for not seeing any comments and not giving any proper shout outs. It is not intentional. The love is real, and I do appreciate every single one of you. Bryn throwing 100 biddies down. DZ smoking that thing with 100 biddies. Knock throwing the bits down. The cattle throwing the bits down. Dude, y'all are awesome. Oh my God, it's Gigi with the follow. Thank you. They tell you if you want to be successful in a space, to make your GOAT list. Pick 3, pick 5, but if not, if you can narrow it down to 3 things, 3 people in that same space, 3 people in that same space that are doing it at the level that you want, or that are major influences in what you do. And when I made that list, the person coming on today was the person at the top of that list. This is numero uno, and I have been wanting this person on for the longest time, and I'm not going to keep him waiting any longer. We're just going to bring him right in. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you for the first time on the 916 Junglist channel, DJs Not DJing, the one and only MOJAXX.
Yo, oh my God, this is all going crazy. Right, hang on. I'm streaming you on my phone. I am raiding you on my channel because salute to my channel. Right, here we go. We're going to raid now, everybody. See you over there. And of course, everything's on a different time frame, right?
Right.
So like I was hearing you. You're delayed on my phone. You've just come into my ear ahead of time. You're like time traveled, and now I'm raiding, but I'm doing the time travel thing, so I need to stop my stream. Right, do I look good and sound good? I mean, obviously not good, but, you know, do I look okay?
You're looking acceptable. Looking mighty fine, my friend. Mighty fine.
Right, okay, good. Right, so hopefully we should have a raid from me about now.
We just got a raid from MOJAXX. Big up all the raiders. Appreciate y'all locking in. That is super awesome, man. Thank you very much for doing that.
See, I didn't think ahead. This is where I still mess up with Twitch all the time. I didn't think, I should jump on 30 minutes before, do a little DJ set, and then raid out. I just thought of it like 5 minutes before we're about to go on air. I was like, let me jump on the stream. And, you know, you have to think about this stuff.
You know who's been really good about that? No Use for Anger is super good about that. If one of his homies has some sort of occasional thing going on, birthday, 1 year anniversary, things like that, I see him pop up like an hour or so before that stream happens as like a secret raid, you know what I mean? And that motherfucker did it to me today, and he would have got away with it, except I have him on my auto host, and I saw him on my auto host when I was setting everything up.
Right.
And so, like, big up No Use for Anger, big up Deep. They did the raid in thing. Big up MOJAXX. Thank you very much for raiding in. That's super awesome. Thank you for making this the occasion that it is.
Welcome, Twitch fam. Hello,
yo,
Twitch
seriously.
fam in the chat. I see them all in the chat there. What up?
What up?
Yo,
What up, Twitch fam?
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you. If it's your first time, welcome to the 916 Junglist channel. We do this DJs Not DJing show. We've been doing it for a year now. We do it every single Wednesday, starting at 6:16 p.m. Pacific, 9:16 p.m. Eastern. So if you're in the UK, you're sleeping, don't worry about it. Catch the VOD on YouTube.
Yes, indeed.
Yes, indeed. And I got to work on that. That's something that maybe we can talk about today. I don't know. I was really closed-minded when I started all of this thing, thinking that it was just going to be regional. It was just going to be us. It was just going to be Sacramento Bay Area friends having a laugh on Twitch. And I didn't think, honestly, in the year's time that I would be sitting down talking to you right now, of all people, let alone like the wide, vast audience that is attending this particular event. So it is something that I never considered. And so this is probably the earliest I've ever streamed on Twitch to date. I think this is. I'm pretty sure this is.
I normally catch you when I'm going to bed. Like that's generally when I catch you. It's like I'm about to get into bed. I'll just check what's on Twitch. Oh no, there he is. He's dropping the old school jungle vibes, and I have to tune in for a bit. But yeah, it's because I don't know. It's weird because I obviously the company that I work for, DJ City and Beatsource, they are based West Coast US. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of on that time. You know, our morning meeting that we have twice a week is at 6 p.m. my time, you know, so I'm already kind of adjusted to that way of working. And I know that most of my audience, a majority of my audience at DJ City is in the US. So I've always had that in my head as soon as I started streaming, that I don't like to do anything before sort of 12 p.m. UK, which is like morning time East Coast US. I mean, I feel like I'm wasting my time to do anything before that because they're not even up. You know, West Coast, sometimes you guys just have to miss out because you're a bit too late for me. But East Coast, I'll always try and, do it.
Sometimes you catch us on the very end of Inside the Ride because if we go late, like 2:30 in the morning, our time, that's about 10 a.m. your time. So you're, stereotypical. You're having your morning tea and enjoying. I don't know if you drink tea. I'm just being.
I mean, that happens a lot. Like I'll wake up and I'll sort of. Well, it was homeschool with the kids until like last week. But like I'd wake up, have breakfast, and I'd tune in to some super dope DJs from the West Coast who are still going in the middle of the night, like Spider, for example. You would go late.
Spider.
He's like, I need to go to bed. This kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll just have my breakfast here, eat my cereal. So you carry on, bro.
Love it. We are the late night show here at the 916 Junglist channel by design, starting at 9:16 p.m. on the weekends, and so Pacific. And so I can understand how it's limiting. And I've actually been studying this. You know me, I'm a numbers guy. I look at the analytics, I look at the times, and it's weird, but really on the West Coast, if you're streaming, statistically speaking, the early bird gets the worm. If you're up at like 9 a.m. and streaming, you have a really good opportunity to reach a wide international audience. And it kind of cuts off right about now. Right about 1 p.m. Pacific time, you see there's a lot more content creators coming on, and the viewership kind of spreads out across all those people. But in the morning, if you're on early enough, there's actually a lot of people that are looking for something to watch and not a whole lot of people on delivering that. That's what I'm starting to notice from watching the analytics, at least.
Yeah.
Have you experienced anything different?
Let's not forget our friends in Australasia as well. You know, let's not forget that. You know, like there's a lot of Australian DJs who start streaming sort of, their evening time is like lunchtime for us. So it's like, for me. So it's like I get to catch some really cool stuff like, El Hornet from Pendulum, for example. I'm pretty sure you will have never seen him stream in the past year, but I catch him. He's like lunchtime for me every day.
Love it.
So I've seen him loads, So it's you've got to keep all these different time zones in mind, and that's why my Progress show kind of works better in a way. That's why I started that at 10 p.m. UK. Like that's pretty late, that's a late time to start a show, but that means I can get some very early Australians. I can get the West Coast, the East Coast, it's not too late for the Europeans. Yeah, so it kind of that's almost like my perfect time to play. It's like 10 p.m. but that gets a bit tiring. You know what I mean? You get to the point right now. Yeah, when you have a family and you have to get up at like 7 o'clock every day, it's kind of a mission.
How's that going for you, man?
Oh, dude, it's been. Hey, listen, it's been a weird year, right? It's been a weird 12 months.
No arguing that, my friend.
I cannot complain. I cannot complain. Like my family, we're all healthy. Like, we're all healthy. My wife and I are both employed. Still got jobs. that's all you can ask for in these times. So the fact it's been a bit of a mission with the homeschooling and lockdowns and all that sort of stuff, yeah, all right, I'm good. In the scheme of things, I'm good. So I've got nothing to complain about. Yeah, you know, there's been challenges and different stuff, but it's, yeah, compared to a lot of people, I've been blessed in the past 12 months. So I'm not complaining at all. You know, there's a lot of hardship going on out there right now in all areas of life. So I'm good. Can't complain.
Let's take a step back and go all the way back to the beginning for a second. One thing I like to do with my special guests is I like to do what's called the elevator ride. And what that is you're riding in an elevator with us, and we're all headed to the top floor. And we all want to know who you are before we get to the top floor of the elevator ride. So in a brief rundown, and we'll expand on it in further conversation, but in a brief rundown, can you please tell us who is MOJAXX?
I am a DJ. I've loved music since I was a small boy. I had a proper record player when I was 2. I used to play ABBA and Boney M 45s. There was this artist called Shakin' Stevens, who is like a British kind of Elvis wannabe, and he was big in the early 80s. I had a standing order at the local record store. Every time Shakin' Stevens had a record out, I would get my copy put aside for me. So I was reserving stuff at the record store when I was like 2-3 years old. And then as it went through, I grew up and I realized I have no musical talent whatsoever. And then, so I was like, I want to be a DJ. I want to just play this music to people because I love music so much, but I cannot hold a pitch. Like, I can't sing, I can't play an instrument. I've got no talent in that area, but I love music. So I was like, yeah. So I started doing school parties. My dad was a principal of a junior high kind of level school. And then started doing weddings, birthday parties, kids parties. Me and my boys were dope at kids parties. We were the best. And then from there, clubs, bars, residencies, the working DJ life. And then I got to like my early 30s, realized that DJing 4 or 5 nights a week is a really fun thing to do, but there's not a lot of job security in that. So I had to do something else. And I'd been and studied TV and radio production at university as a mature student, like when I was like 28. So I was like, okay, let's try this YouTube thing. Did the YouTube thing on my own channel. Then DJ City came calling, and then 300 episodes later, because 300 episode was last week, I'm doing that full time, and DJing now is my side hustle.
How many?
It's still my passion. Yeah.
Simple question: how many videos a month are you outputting for DJ City currently?
I do one a month.
You do one a month?
One a month. One a week. One a week. Sorry,
one a week. So 4 to 5
one a week. So 4 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy good production
So
for that kind of output.
It was like 2015 I started with them. So
let's go back to your early DJ days. You mentioned that you used to rock the house parties and rock the kids parties. Were these school events, or were these I mom's not home, or how's that work?
No. I started off doing his school, and then my mum was a principal as well at a different school, so I did her school. And then the word gets out that there are these two, like, I was like 13 at the time, like young. There's these two like 13-year-old guys who do these good school discos, as we call them in the UK. So we would get booked through other head teachers, other principals that my parents knew. And so we got to the point where at the end of each term, we were doing like 15 different schools in the area.
Money.
And then from that, you get the parents saying, hey, could you come and DJ my kid's birthday party? Yeah. That kind of stuff. So it was fully like, became a mobile DJ enterprise before I could even drive. Like that was, so my dad had to drive me to the gigs with all the speakers and the lights and all the gear.
On top of his normal job, being a principal.
Yeah, that was just, right. Exactly. So but so all more thanks to my dad for that. And then that just carried on into, I really enjoyed being a mobile DJ. It was a good vibe, it's hard work. Like, I got nothing but respect for mobile DJs. It is the hardest gig going, because you've got a room full of people from age 7 to 70, none of whom have come there specifically to dance, and you've got to make them dance, and that is a massive challenge. And I thrived on it. I really enjoyed it, and that's where I cut my teeth as a DJ. That's where I learned how to work a room and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And so I've nothing but praise for mobile DJs still to this day. I can't be bothered to carry all the stuff. That's what I got out of it. It's just like, carrying all the gear around and the
I feel
speakers
that.
and the lights and everything. Yeah.
What you probably don't know
so
about
that
me is I was actually in the mobile event space before COVID hit. My bread and butter wasn't in drum and bass production, in case you didn't know. I mean, I don't know if that's been made clear or not. But I was
See, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I didn't know that at all. I thought you were just this hardcore junglist guy, been deep in the drum and bass scene and nothing else for years and years. And that's kind of funny, because that's what Twitch has allowed us to do.
Right.
To be the DJs who we've always wanted to be. You know, like, jumping forward, you know, to where I was. Once the DJ City thing became my job and I started making videos for a living, and DJing all of a sudden I didn't have to work 5 nights a week to pay the bills, you know, DJing. So I stopped being a traditional kind of open format, you know, R&B. In the UK now, open format means R&B and a bit of house. That's what open format means today. We'll maybe talk about open format later, because I've got stuff to say about that.
Let's go. Yep.
But like, that was me. And then I'd got to that point maybe in like 2018 where I was like, I don't need to do that anymore. What do I want to do? So I became this 45 guy. I just playing 45.
I remember you promoting that. I remember you
stuff.
promoting that on your Instagram and stuff like that.
And I still love it to this day. Like, it's super dope. But like, that was, so I'm playing to older crowds, playing funk, soul, disco, old school hip hop, that kind of vibe. And just, it's kind of a relaxed way of DJing. But like, that still wasn't satisfying my every urge that was still a commercial decision. It was like, I can get paid to do this in my area on a pretty regular basis. I can do well out of this. What I can't get paid to do in my city every weekend is play progressive house. So when Twitch comes along and all those commercial considerations are gone,
right,
just wiped out completely.
Including an audience that wants to hear it, arguably, right? Including an audience that even wants to hear it, arguably. Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I can just go ahead and play progressive house, because that's what I want to play. That's what I feel like playing. And then, you know, towards the end of last year, I was like, yeah, you know what else I really want to play? Liquid drum and bass. I'm also a drum and bass DJ now, so stick that up your pipe and smoke it. Like, just because it doesn't matter, because I can. Who cares? Like, if no one, if you don't want to hear that music, you go watch another stream.
Change the damn channel.
It's no problem. There's no manager. There's no club manager or bar manager coming up saying, hey, man, can you play a bit more vocal for the girls? Like, no, man, I'll just play what I want.
You're not hurting anyone's bottom line by doing what you want to do. Only your own, if that's the way you look at it, right? Yeah.
And it gives me this freedom to do weird stuff as well. Like, I did this vaporwave stream a few weeks ago where I just put static on the screen. You couldn't see me. And I played like vaporwave and like broken signal kind of music and 80s Japanese TV commercials, just the audio from those. And I was typing like random Japanese phrases into the chat. People were texting me to ask if I'd been hacked. And I did that for like, 90 minutes. And I didn't let on at any point. It's fully, basically Aphex Twin walked my mind as a teenager, and that's it. But like, I love the fact that Twitch gives me the freedom to do, like the other night, I rescored Daft Punk's Electroma movie that they made. I rescored it myself live on Twitch.
I caught some of it.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Because I can. Like, you know, if I would just want to be creative, because my creativity as a DJ isn't about turntablism and stuff. I'm not a scratcher. My creativity is about putting together sounds and styles and tracks in ways that excite the mind, and like that's so Twitch is my platform for that. I can do whatever I want on here.
You talk about Aphex Twin blowing your mind. One time Aphex Twin came to a rave in San Francisco and he played like the side weird room where all the side weird room music was being played. And I'll never forget, he had this whole table of shit and it was like a live PA performance. It wasn't like a DJ performance, right? And at one point in the show, my man stuck a live microphone into a blender and fucking destroyed the microphone hot. And the sound engineers just fucking hated him. You can see they were like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, this is what I'm here for. Like, this is...
Dude, I saw him. The only time I've seen him live was a DJ set. I've got family in Toronto. So when I was about 15, 16, we went to Toronto to visit the family. Bjork was doing her world tour at the time, and she played at Government in Toronto. Amazing venue. I think it's gone now, I believe. But like, yeah, so I went there for this Bjork show, and Aphex Twin was on the warm-up. And like, it's a Bjork show, you know, there's like lots of like kind of middle-aged hippie kind of chicks there and stuff all waiting.
Yep.
Aphex Twin comes on and just plays like nosebleed acid techno for an hour. And like, the whole place is like, what is this? And I'm just like, yeah, come on,
Let's
Aphex.
go, yeah.
Let's have it, mate. Come on.
Front row, let's get
Yes.
it.
Oh my God. Yeah, the most influential artist in my life, like without question, Aphex Twin, the most influential artist to me.
Let's
all
talk
day
about your
long.
influences. The flyer that we had, let me see if I can get it. I will lose the audio if I do it. The flyer that I made, I purposely chose a picture of you wearing a Suburban Bass shirt because we're the 916 Junglist channel, and here you are with like a Boogie Times Tribe logo on your shirt. Can you? Well, we got a raid. Hold on, we got a raid. Who just raided?
You had to, Raiders.
Who just raided? Joshua Carl coming in. Thank you so much, Joshua Carl. Big up Joshua Carl. He's a regular here on the 916 Junglist channel, Wednesday night DJs Not DJing. He is definitely a stream guru. This guy knows his shit. So if you want to learn about streaming, yeah, exactly. If you want to learn about streaming, learn about the tech stuff, learn about the intricacies of putting on a really dope production, make sure you follow Joshua Carl right now. Please, Moz, can we get a shout out to Joshua Carl in the chat? That'd be amazing. While I have the mic, let me thank Newtastic Gaming for the biddies. Thank you, Liam Shock, for the follow. Appreciate you. TFTI, 11 months at Tier 1. Digit, 11 months at Tier 1 as well. The 11-month Tier 1 subs are coming in, man. Thank you so much, y'all. Big Buddy Knock with the biddies. DJ Ross Noir with the follow. Thank you so much. Visual Serenity throwing bits. Big Buddy Knock all night again with the bits. Thank you. Mixedemic with the follow. Appreciate you being here. Welcome. Hammer Discool with the follow. Thank you so much. Visual Serenity throwing out another one to the crew. Thank you. DJ Habitu, thank you for the follow. Research DMB, thank you for the follow. Studio 64, thank you for the follow. Kong the DJ, another follow. Thank you all so much. Elevate Event Group, big up. We're inside DJs Not DJing. We're talking with MOJAXX on a special episode celebrating 1 year. And thank you for being here. And we were just talking about your influences and this Suburban Bass t-shirt you're wearing, and you're spinning Liquid Jungle on Sundays. I've been watching you for years. The only clue I had that you were into drum and bass at all was you did a video one time, and I forget which one it was. It might have been with the 12s. You were reviewing the Rain 12s, and you were talking about how you could put any record you want on top of the 12s, and you used a reinforced picture disc. Am I wrong?
Yes, indeed. Yeah,
and so I saw
the other
that.
day, actually, I need to put it. Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, man's got a reinforced picture disc. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. And so and that was my first clue, but I had no clue since then until I started watching you streaming. Can you give us the junglists in the room right now? Can you give us a little bit of your early influences in the rave scene and the jungle scene, and how it influenced the one and only MOJAXX, please?
Well, I think it's quite interesting because as an American, your path through electronic music is very different from ours in the UK. Like in the UK, rave, you know, like around 92, Prodigy, Charlie, Smarty, Sesame Street, which was on sub bass, right?
Deep
that was
knows.
on Suburban Bass.
Deep was hanging
Right.
the antenna for the pirate radio. Deep in the chat right now was one of the guys that was hanging the antenna for the pirate radio stations back then. Big up Deep.
Sick. Yeah, like, and I was like 12 or whatever at that time. You know, I was a young kid, but like that stuff was proper mainstream. That was proper chart music, top 40, top 10 music, right? So we have that history with it for a start, but then also, you know, jungle and drum and bass obviously grew out of that kind of Essex.
I think Awesome 3 hit the US pop charts, was the closest thing we got, right? Like Awesome 3.
Yeah, and so
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
maybe
you had
Bomb
it, but
Scare.
like not on the kind of not on the level that we did. You know,
Right,
it was
right.
such a mainstream thing for us. And then I Suburban Bass is really important to me because that was the first 12-inch proper like breakbeat hardcore record that I bought. I'd been buying, you know, our stuff mainly came on 7-inch vinyl still at that point from like the high street stores, right? So I'd pick all that up like Prodigy and stuff. You could get all that in the high street store. But then I started to go into proper record stores, and the first proper 12-inch that I bought was DJ Chrome and Mr. Time, the Slammer remixes on Suburban Bass 1993. It's the Nookie mix is the one for me. That's this timeless, endless, ultimate tune. Love that still to this day. And so that was a very important label. After that, it was like, right, oh, okay, I'll just buy everything I see on this label.
Right.
And then you start talking to the guys in the store, and they're like, oh, you should try this production house thing, because that was another big label, you know, ASIN and stuff all that time. And then it just gradually went on from there. So I've always had that history with rave music, you know, what we would call rave music all that time, and growing up. And then I got into happy hardcore as once I was sort of 16, 17, starting to drive around in my little hatchback, my little hot hatch, like room, like, you know, boy racer vibes, pumping out the 4-beat happy hardcore. And then
all the
your taste develop and change. And I got more into sort of house and trance, and I've just, dance music's always been my thing. I'm not a hip hop head from back in the day. I can't pretend I was there, you know, digging the OG hip. I liked things like Run DMC and that, but I was never a real hip hop head. I was a dance music head. The first 2 records I beat matched were Nightcrawlers and Bucketheads.
Yes.
Like, I remember the day I was figured out beat matching for the first time. So that was 95. So I was like, oh, this is how you do it. You know, it's like, oh, the curtains fall away from the eyes. And
you never
like,
hear music the same way again.
Yeah. And so, like, you know, I've always been a house guy, a dance guy. That's my jam. And then as we go through the years with drum and bass in the UK, again, stuff like DJ Fresh, even today, Wilkinson, that's top 10 music, man. That's big. Sigma, you know, those are big acts in the UK still. And so as an open format DJ, when open format was real open format, I would play Shy FX, Shake Your Body, and, you know, General Levy, Incredible, MB, and stuff like that.
Those were part of the open format. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
they were mainstays in any open format set for years and years and years. And like, that was, so I've just always had that connection to it. But my rave, the stuff that I play on Twitch is stuff that I raved to as a youngster. That's the difference. It's not necessarily like progressive house. I used to go to Bedrock at Heaven in London, first Thursday of every month. John Digweed's night, you know, Sasha and Digweed. And that was like incredibly important to me in the early 2000s. And then a couple of years after that,
Bedrock vinyl here in Sacramento.
Oh my God, just, it's still so influential over me. But then my housemate, one of my housemates, my best friend in the world, who's now lives in Australia, he got a job at Fabric London. Sick. He was their new media manager. He did their website and all that for like 5 years. And so I went to Fabric from like 2002 to 2005, pretty much every weekend, access all areas, hanging out in the DJ booths, just watching and listening and getting messed up as well. We're having a good time.
That's a golden ticket, man.
You know, that is an education right there. Do you know what I mean? So I've seen the best DJs in the world close up, you know, and it was obviously the big nights there at that time was like True Players, you know, and Ram Records were doing nights, and then it's just loads of drum and bass all the time. Like Friday nights was just like, even Scratch Perverts at that point, it was just loads of drum and bass all the time. So I've heard the best, and that was the stuff that I went out and partied to. That's why when you give me the choice with no commercial considerations, the stuff that you partied to in your late teens, your early 20s, that's the stuff that's always going to touch you the most. So yeah, I'll always be an open format DJ at heart. I love too many. If you told me I could never play a rock set again, I'd be sad. Do you know what I mean? Like that would make me sad.
That's
but
kind of
that really gets me going.
It's kind of a hurdle that I'm currently faced with right now. You see, I started this expectation, you know, the name of the channel is the 916 Junglist channel. So it's, you know, the expectation is set. You know what I mean? I got the Junglist piece behind me. It's like, it's jungle, jungle, jungle. Even having a talk show like this is a little bit off brand, right? If you look, the 916 Junglist channel is going to be jungle, right? And so I'm currently faced with that hurdle right now, and I'm still haven't come to a decision on how to overcome this. I've thought about, I have a Billy Lane TV account that can, you know, things can move to, but I don't want to create confusion to the community. I like to keep things consolidated and simple, one destination for everything kind of thing.
I think you're stuck with it now. You just got to deal with it.
Just got to roll with it, right?
It's been a year. It's been a year, man. It's too late. Like you, if you'd have done it 3 months in, or even 6 months in, maybe, but it's too late now.
right?
You're stuck with it now. You just got to ride.
The
Just
chat
ride
is
that train, bro,
inspired,
'cause
and
there's
the folks are saying like, we appreciate all the different styles of music. I see it in the chat, y'all. I understand. But you know, I'm just that's one thing that I'm starting to see. But the upside of it, honestly, is the fact that we are creating, you know, the buzzword is community, and I don't know if that's the right word or not, but we're creating something really cool for drum and bass fans here on Twitch, and both as you know, people that are viewers and also creators. There's like a homogenized like vibe happening with all of us, and it's super awesome. And so I just want to send a big shout out to all the junglists out there chiming in. I see y'all. Let's move it on to something else.
It's funny
though.
because I was just going to say, like, I've now been doing my Sunday show, Liquid, you know, Sub Bass Sundays, for it was my 15th episode last night. So I've been doing that for what's that? 3 months. Yeah, 3 and a bit months, right? So I've been exploring. I was watching some drum and bass on Twitch already, but I wasn't like getting into the community in quite the same way. And I've got to say, the drum and bass community on Twitch is awesome. Like, it's fully awesome. There is so much support for everybody. And to be honest, like, drum and bass has always seemed a bit, as someone who's a bit of an outsider, as a bit of kind of an insular kind of scene, a bit cliquey. But I don't see that on Twitch. I don't feel that on Twitch. I feel like it's very welcoming, and I feel like everyone's supporting each other. I might be wrong on that. I don't know. But, and again, I'm still kind of an outsider to it, but I feel like everyone's getting each other's back, because drum and bass has always been a kind of, not sidelined, do you know what I mean? But it's always been outside of the mainstream.
If there's a big festival, you know, if there's a big festival with 4 rooms, the drum and bass room is room 4 of 4. That's what you're trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel like the drum and bass community has embraced Twitch in a different way from, let's say, the techno community. You know, and when I say techno, I mean, you know, black tank top, business techno kind of vibe. I feel like those kind of people have not embraced it in the same way as drum and bass people have. Progressive house people in general have not embraced it as a community thing. Because for me, Twitch is all about the community stuff.
Yep.
You know, I have my own community that I've built around what I do, and I you know, incredible what's going on. You know, I have my own team and stuff. The Progress family, they all do. Every Wednesday is like a raid train building up to me, and then I raid out from there. It's like, this is so special, the community stuff that's going on. And I just feel like, yeah, drum and bass, it feels like everyone's kind of got each other's back. There's not too much sniping going on. Everyone's just like, this is our place where we can shine, where maybe we don't get a chance to shine because we're always in that 4th room at the festival, or the 4th tent, you know, that grungy tent at the back near to the toilets. Like, we're, you know, this is a place for drum and bass to really shine and come through, and I love that.
Some of it can be attributed to United States drum and bass communicating a lot better from this too. One thing that's kind of hindered the community of the drum and bass community domestically here in the United States is that we're such a huge country and so far spread apart that a lot of us in the last year, we've actually started discovering similar scenes all over the U.S. Hey, you've been doing this for 20 years and I never even talked to you once. Hey, you've been doing this for 20 years and I never talked to you once, right? And like Atlanta, Seattle, Portland, even up in Vancouver and like Texas and you know, all over the East Coast, these scenes that may not even be like the major metropolitan scenes, like these, you know, Sacramento, we're 100 miles away from San Francisco. We have a 2 million population. We're a decent sized city, but we're not the biggest city in the country, right? And these type of scenes are all starting to connect right now, and you're starting to see like the what made those local scenes strong is what's making this bigger network strong as well. Everybody's supporting each other, everyone getting each other's back. It's a beautiful thing. It's super awesome. Let's get into what you've been doing after your influences. And I want to actually talk, this is a little bit selfish. I'm gonna get a little bit selfish, chat. And if you can relate to this, I hope you can too. I want to talk about your decision to get into content creation. Your decision to start making YouTube videos. How did that start? Has it changed since you started? Are you talking about different things? Is your original direction different, or is your direction different now than it was before? What kind of mistakes have you made? Things like that. So I want to start from the very beginning. What made you decide to start doing it in the first place?
It was, well, I had my daughter. That was what made me decide. It was like, yeah, I had my daughter and she was, I don't know, still a baby. So she was like under a year old. And I was just like, I can't. It was kind of cool because on the one hand, being a DJ dad full time, you're around during the day. So that's kind of special. Like I used to take my little girl to all the dates, all this stuff. There's like me and 50 mums in like the baby group thing, doing the bounce and rhyme and the nursery rhyme. Yeah, that was kind of cool, right? It was all right because not many dads get that opportunity. So that was pretty sweet. But at the same time, it was like I was DJing at one point. I was DJing in one bar 3 nights a week and another one 2 nights a week, but they were both part of the same chain, same general manager. And I didn't, in the UK, we don't really do contracts for DJs. That's not really a thing, which is a bit of a shame. And I was just like, if I fall out with the area manager, I'm completely unemployed. Like if I have one argument with this guy and he says, "Now you're fired,"
It's happened to me.
I'm completely out of a job. And I'm just like, this is not a sustainable, like my wife works, you know, she's got a better paid job than I have, but like, you know, I can't be in that kind of precarious life. So what can I do? And I'd done this course, you know, the whole point of going to university was that I wanted to do radio. Actually, that's what I wanted to do. And I went there and I discovered video and I discovered the idea of doing video content. I really enjoyed it. And I started looking around at like digital DJ tips, DJ tech tools. Shout out to Kareem from djbooth.net as well, OG in the YouTube game. And I watched their stuff and I was like, I'll give that a try. And I used to work at an online retailer for DJ gear back in my London days when I lived down there in the Fabric and Bedrock times. I used to work for a place called dex.co.uk. And I still had contacts there. It's like 10 years later. So I was like, hit my guy up. I was like, can you just send me this Native Instruments Control Z1, the Z1, the little 2-channel little, it's like a mixer, but it's not really sort of thing. You send me one of them, just lend me that for a bit and I'll do a little video about it. Did that with my phone as the camera. And that went okay. And this is just on my own YouTube. Started it from nothing, you know. And then I did very quickly Algorithm with their DJ on iPad hit me up. Like they were like the first people ever to reach out to me to review something.
This is
They're
based
like,
off of seeing your video on YouTube of you creating you created a video.
Yeah.
Algorithm saw it somehow, basically maybe referred to it from a Google search.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure that was like my second video was Algorithms DJ. And then I just carried on from there. I had long links with Serato by that point. Like I was a 100% Serato user from about 2005 to the point in 2013 when I started making videos. I'd been deep in Serato. I'd become a beta tester for Serato. You know, I was properly in their circle, if you like. So like I was
you're the person getting all the phone calls from your friends when shit breaks.
yeah. I've always been that guy. Always been that guy. Now I just get them from everybody on the internet.
Right.
But yeah, I was always the guy for my friends. But so that was me. And then so I did some stuff with Serato, and then I went to the BPM show, which is like the kind of smaller British NAMM, effectively. So I went to that, and I connected with In Music with Newmark there, and a couple of other brands, and then just gradually kind of built it. And then DJ Tech Tools, I think they asking for freelancers or something like that, and I was just like, I want to let me freelance for you, because I really like DJ Tech Tools content. I think it was
Shouts out to DJ
cool
Tech
what
Tools.
they were doing.
Can we get an exclamation
Absolutely.
point DJTT in the chat? They're a sponsor of this channel.
Yeah, they were, you know,
Big up Josh at
very
DJ Tech Tools
influential
for
channel.
sponsoring this show. DJ Tech Tools has been sponsoring
Absolutely.
the show since day one, actually.
Word.
Yeah.
I have many of their chroma cables around me right now, like in front of me, behind me, all over the place. I love those cables. And yeah, I'm currently using using that to control sound switch right now as well.
Love that.
That's my.
I've been
really
using their
25,
USB-C Chrome cables for a while now. They're the best ones on the market for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Yeah, love it. So yeah, and I did some freelance stuff for them for a little while, and that was going okay. But I didn't, you know, the thing with DJ Tech Tools is they always had Ian Golden,
Right.
you know, was like the big guy at DJ Tech Tools, and it was never going to be my thing. It was
Right.
always going to be me on their channel sort of thing. And then DJ City it's weird how life works out. Is I live in Newcastle now in the UK. I've lived here since about 2005, and it's like northeast UK. So it's a good, reasonable sized city, not the biggest, but you know, it's a decent size, big enough that I can live 5 miles out and I'm at the coast, nowhere near the city itself, but there's still like big nightlife going on in the city. So it's like, yeah, it's a good place to live. But it just happens that DJ City UK is run by this guy Play. He's the one who sort of brought DJ City to the UK. Excuse me. And he lives in Newcastle. He's from Newcastle, born and raised. They had an office here. And so Styles Davis comes to me. He is over from LA. He's like, oh, let's go out for dinner. And I'm like, what's going on here? He's like, yeah, we want you to make videos for us. And I was like, I don't know, because this DJ Tech Talks thing is pretty cool. You guys don't really do this kind of video at the moment. And then he's like, come see the office. And I went to the office because at that point I'd been filming videos in my garage. Like I had to take all the shit out of my, sorry, excuse my language. I'd take all the stuff.
You can cuss all you want, man. This is definitely that show. Go ahead, though.
I prefer not to.
I understand.
Just because it's unnecessary. Like in real life, I swear like a docker. Like my mouth is filthy. But when I'm on any kind of broadcast, I'm just like, is it necessary? No, it's not necessary.
Looking forward to grabbing some drinks and cussing like some sailors at TwitchCon in the future, man. Seriously.
Seriously, I shock some of my colleagues. Like when I meet like my colleagues from Germany and stuff, they're like, damn, that MOJAXX really swears, huh? I'm like, yeah, damn he does. But yeah, so they had the office in Newcastle, and I went to the office, and it was like kismet. I walked in, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, if I was going to do it, I'd stand there. And I looked up, and there was a wooden beam across the ceiling. I was like, I could mount my camera on that for a perfect overhead view. Okay, and it's just like everything came together, and then DJ City, and then it's been growing. You know, DJ City has been growing consistently in those years. We now have the Beatsource thing. And
I want to talk about that too.
It's just been a wonderful place to be. Like it's just been absolutely. I am naturally a lazy ass person. Mm-hmm. I am lazy. I find it hard to motivate myself. I am easily distracted by anything. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, look, a squirrel.
But with DJ City, I'm surrounded by people who are on it the whole time, like absolutely on the case. It inspires me to do better and to work hard and produce dope stuff because the people around me are doing that, you know? And so I need to be at somewhere like DJ City to get the best out of what I do, to push myself all the time. Because if I'm just left to my own devices, yeah, that stuff's going to take weeks. I'm a deadlines kind of guy. I need a deadline. I need that motivation. Like I need people around me who are just on point. And everyone at DJ City is on point 100% of the time. And so, yeah, it just inspires me all the time. It's amazing.
One thing that somebody told me a long time ago, I forget who it was, but I added this to my workflow in a lot of my projects. And it's my biggest mistake that I make is I get all motivated to start something, and then it gets about 2/3 of the way there, and I get bored with it, and I drop it thinking that it's total crap. But it only takes years of like making that mistake and revisiting things, saying, man, that's actually was a decent idea. I should finish that out, to understand like how to reach things to completion. My problem was not reaching things to completion. So what I started doing was I started creating lists of things that needed to be done in order to reach completion. And that kept me from getting distracted and going off into like different paths and like never finishing things or not having motivation to do things. And I'm the opposite,
really. I procrastinate. You see, I procrastinate. I don't get started. Once I get started on something, I'm on a mission and I get it done, you know, but like I have trouble getting started with stuff. That's my issue, is the other way. You know, we've all got our own flaws, you know, psychologically, and that's mine, is I just can't get going with stuff.
One last question.
I do have I was just going to say, one thing that has stuck with me for years and years, and I always think back to this, is this thing is, I don't even know if it's a real quote, but it's attributed to Steve Jobs. Real artists ship. And I've always stuck with that. It's like there's a whole thing about you can spend forever making something perfect, but if no one ever sees it or hears it, what's the point? Like you're better off just getting stuff out the door. Like just ship it now. Like get it done and get it out. If it's not 100% incredible, is exactly how you want it to be. I was about this with mixtapes all through like the 2000s. I'd spend months on a mixtape, and I was never, and so I never put out any mixtapes.
How many producers in the chat right now? How many music producers in the chat right now know exactly what he's talking about? You always hear something
out the door,
or a mixtape too. You always hear that one mix or that one thing. You know what I mean? And honestly, I've told people, because I was the guy across the counter at the record store for many years, and they would ask me questions like that. You know what I mean? How can you finish a mixtape, or what are some advice on finishing mixtape? And I would tell them that just get it out there, because that feeling that you have of incompletion can be turned into motivation to keep creating more things, because you want to keep bettering your output. And so if you look at it that way, then you never really get hung up on like, is this okay? Or my peers going to clown on me for putting this out? Is it total garbage, or is it any good? You know, that kind of, all those weird doubts that you go through. And so just use that feeling that you have, of that incompletion feeling that you have, to actually motivate you to create something better next time, is the way I've always looked at it. And it's actually helped.
It's better to be imperfect but visible rather than being perfect but invisible. There's no point. Like, if no one knows what you're doing, then there's no point. Just get stuff out the door, and then you can move on to the next thing. And that's all. I find that a very satisfying way of working. It's like, yeah, I'll just get it out. It's fine. It's good enough. There's a point where everything you can do version 17, final, compressed 7.7,
mastered one,
mastered, .wav. Like, forget it. Just get it out the door. Like, you just, you're not making the White Album. Like, just get it out the door. Like, that's the way I look at things now, and it helps me a lot.
Quick run through some of the stuff that's been going on. The love has been happening while we're talking. Big up Liam Shuck for the follow. I think I said that already. Noobtastic with the biddies. Elevate Group, thanks you for the follow. Big Buddy Knock throwing out a 5-pack to the crew. That's big, man. Big up Nocturnal. Thank you so much.
Legend Knock.
Dude, yeah. Big Buddy Knock is the homie right there. Big up the Sleep Rocker crew. And that's the dude right there. Thank you, man. Also, 6 months at Tier 1 with the cherry on top. Thank you. 100 Proof crew out of Boston throwing 1,000 bits down. Appreciate that. You bought tacos for today. Visual Serenity, thank you for the biddies as well. That's good love. We're talking with MOJAXX on the 916 Junglist channel, special 1-year anniversary edition of DJs Not DJing. And I've been picking his brain on content creation. I have one last question, and you might have already answered it. Any big mistakes that you've made that you want to warn against to anybody like myself, maybe, who, I have 300 followers on YouTube right now, and I'm creating videos every week. I'm trying to dress it up to play nice with the algorithm. I'm trying to do the thumbnails. I'm trying to do the snappy titles without seeming too baity to my friends. And any piece of advice you would give to somebody who's on the grind right now, trying to reach even just 1,000 YouTube subscribers?
That is a tough one, actually. I mean, the main thing is just get stuff out of the door. It does come back to what I just said.
Yeah,
just get stuff out, because you learn from every single video. Every video that I make, still, I've done 300 just for DJ City. I probably did about 60 before that. I've done a lot of videos. I learn every video. I'll look back and I'll say, oh, the lighting was too dark in that bit. This wasn't right. This wasn't, that looked weird, that screen. Like, there's something to learn from every piece of content you produce. So you've got to see what works. I mean, the one thing I will say is that I'd be interested to see how your shows are doing the full length, because that's the one thing that seems to change. There's a lot of stuff that's consistent on YouTube. The fact your thumbnails need to have like a human face on them and stuff, which I hate doing because I don't like to have pictures of myself on the thumbnails. But that kind of, that's all pretty consistent. It's just like human behavior kind of stuff. What does seem to have changed is that people are now more open to watching more long form content on YouTube. For a long time, with my stuff, I was just like, let's cut it down. Let's get it to 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes. Let's get it super short, because no one's sitting on YouTube watching a video for 20 minutes.
No one's got time for that.
In 2021, people do have time for that because they're all stuck in their house. Maybe that's what the fact, but it was happening before anyway. But I think people are more accepting of long form content now that maybe they've got YouTube on their TV, whereas they didn't back in 2015. That kind of, this is where things change. And so every platform goes through these cycles and changes, but I think you've just got to see what works for you and what works best. Like I know, like my channel right now is still going. I've got like 12,000, 13,000 subscribers on YouTube on MOJAXX channel, which is like super cool. But I get like, for my replays of progress and stuff, I get like 200 views. It's nothing because the algorithm shoots me down because it's all copyright music and, like they're really, it's
goals.
It's nice. Yeah. But, I see mixes getting 10,000 views in a week and stuff like this. And so I don't know the secret to the algorithm, I'm afraid. But all I do know is if you keep being consistent, then viewers will notice and the algorithm will then take notice. If people watch you, that's the best way to beat the algorithm, is to get people to watch your stuff fundamentally, because they recommend stuff that other people watch.
Right.
And so, growth begats growth, or what, the phrase, it just does. So you just got to be consistent with it. If you feel like with your stuff, for example, the 3-hour videos, if you look at your numbers and people are watching for 5 minutes and turning off, then maybe you do need to do a highlight compilation, each week and cut it down. Like I like your little short clips that you do. I watch those religiously. It's rare that I'll sit down and watch a whole 3-hour episode.
Right.
I'd rather see maybe a 10-minute video with 5 little clips in there. That's something that I'd like to see, but that's me. My YouTube consumption is different from most people because I watch YouTube pretty much all day long. I have it in the background. I have the premium account, so I can have audio only. Like, I'm a bit concerned if I get pulled over by the cops when I'm driving. They're gonna be like, "You watching YouTube?" I'm just like, "No, it's just listening to it, bro. There's nothing, just in my AirPods." But like, so yeah, my YouTube consumption is weird compared to most people. But yeah, I think, you've just got to look at the numbers, see what's working for you and what isn't. Eventually you'll catch on to something that may not get tens of thousands of views, but it will catch enough imaginations to get you a decent audience.
You're on the money with
niche stuff.
You're on the money with the stats. My long form stuff, the 3-hour ones, the 3 to 5 hour videos that I'm uploading from Twitch, the full episodes of Inside the Ride and whatnot, even though chapterizing them has helped, it definitely doesn't. You know how when you go to your YouTube studio and it tells you your ranking of the video you just posted compared to your other 10, the long form videos rarely make it into the more than 8, ranked 8 in the top 10, and they usually have about 50% of the views, and the duration of people watching them is not very short, and you can see the chapters working because it tells you like what portions of the video were more successful than the other, and more what people were watching more often. So you can see like, oh yeah, people like this DJ set.
Your investment of time in it as well.
Right.
Like for me, I put my progress episodes up from Wednesday nights. They go up every week, and I do the Spotify playlist, and I do my track list on my website, and all this stuff. That all goes up every time, and that's just about worth my time.
Right.
Because of the number of views I got. My Sunday show, which is just a 3-hour mix show, after a few weeks, I looked at that. I was like, actually, the work that it's taken me to make this into a YouTube video, and because I have to like level up the audio and re-encode it, and it becomes like a 12 gigabyte file, and I have to upload it, and I have to title it, I have to do the tags on YouTube, all this sort of stuff, and it's that extra bit of work. Whereas actually, I could just take the clean audio feed and just stick it on Mixcloud. It takes me 10 minutes.
Right.
So it's like diminishing returns of how much is worth your time to do. And so, yeah, you've just got to look at what's the best use of your time. That's for, is it better use of your time to just put that out and do timestamps through the whole thing? Or would you be better off just doing a quick edit, taking out 5 little clips and putting them up?
Lately,
my suspicion is probably the latter.
The latter is definitely true. Lately, the workflow has been adding stream markers during the show, and I'm doing one right now, and then using those stream markers as a reference when cutting clips down the road. And I normally, for my workflow, and we'll get past this, sorry audience if we're boring you with this, but normally what I've had to do is I've dedicated a day. Monday is my day to go through and watch the week's programming, and then use my stream markers as a point of reference, and then just jump through it and watch the shows again. For one, seeing if I like watching it, because that's really important. That's been covered everywhere. You got to enjoy watching your shit if you want people to enjoy watching your shit. Like, you need to enjoy it too.
Amen.
Yeah. And some people, like, they'll say, like, I can't watch myself stream. I was like, well, why do you think anybody else could? You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to watch yourself. If you can't, then that's your first obstacle. But no, moving right along though. Yeah, you're right in the general synopsis. The 5 to 10 minute tops videos, usually 5 minutes and under, perform the best. And that's where I started doing like the rapid fire updates, where I'm just taking like a week's worth of news and just delivering the headlines real quick in like a couple of minutes on an Instagram post. Those types of things, like, they perform really well because you're setting the expectation. Like, I'm not trying to take up too much of your time. Your life is busy. Here's something real quick. Hopefully you can digest the gist of it and move on. Right. That's kind of been the direction. Any case, thank you for that.
I like your gang. I like the gang. I like your gang on the Zoom calls. I really enjoy that interaction and stuff. So it's those clips that I enjoy watching the most.
Awesome.
But I wouldn't necessarily sit down and watch a whole 3-hour replay of it. I would watch it live if you were on when I'm awake. But like, because you've got that live, you're in the chat and everything else. But like, to watch it as a replay, that doesn't quite do it for me in the same. I'm not dissing your content out here. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, that's, for me, that's such a live experience that I just feel like, I would want to be there. I'd get frustrated. I couldn't like shout insults in the chat at Josh Carl, for example. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of, like, I would just.
It's so much fun to do that too.
I feel like I'm missing
it's so
out.
much fun to do that. No
But
shout
also,
out for
it's kind
Joshua
of a
Carl.
service. It's also kind of a service to the people who, like, one of the reasons I put Progress out as a replay on YouTube is that it's a service to people who watch the show but don't necessarily make it every Wednesday night.
Right.
You know, so they can catch up. You know, so it almost, the way, because I'm very interactive on that show, I'm talking to the chat the whole time. That almost doesn't work as a YouTube video either. But the people who watch are maybe people who've missed it or they want to see it again. I'm not trying to reach a new audience.
Do you know what started happening in the past 2 weeks? And this is just little old Billy Lane's YouTube channel with 300 and something followers. In the past 2 weeks, I've started to get people in the chat saying, I've been watching your clips on YouTube and now I'm finally here to watch the show live. That's just started happening. And that, to me, is the ultimate payoff. That was like,
that's dope.
That's it. I'm going to keep doing this now because it's obviously working. We just got rated. Who just rated us? Big up Kings Connect. Thank you so much for rating in. What up, Raiders? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the 916 Junglist channel. My name is Billy Lane. We are celebrating 1 year of a show called DJs Not DJing. Big up. And I don't have the big sound effects. And we have a very special guest in the room. We have the one and only, get it, MOJAXX, representing DJ City and Beatsource and the infamous MOJAXX brand in itself. Yo, man, thank you for being here. It is a huge honor. I appreciate chatting with you. You mentioned the gang. It's time to bring the gang in because the rest of these questions involve the rest of the gang. So, gang, exclamation point, exclamation point, Zoom in the chat, exclamation point, Zoom in the chat. Let's get them in here. All the gang, let's go. Red Chuck the Gray Squirrel. The floodgates are open. Let's get it. This is not a drill. Joshua Carl coming in. Catch 22's coming in. For those that don't know, we do this thing every single week. Normally it's on Wednesday at 6:16 p.m. Pacific, 9:16 p.m. Eastern. And it's a good time. We sit around, we talk some shop. The way the analogy that I like to give is I used to be a record store clerk here in town. And every Tuesday was New Music Tuesday at the record store. And what would happen is there would be this big convergence of DJs, cross-pollination of genre, culture, and just musical influences and technical abilities and everything that goes along with it. And we would all show up at the record shop on a specific day, and we would be a huge influence on each other. And we would do things like talk about the new news that's been coming around, the new technology, the new gear, the music that's out today, music that we miss, and just telling stories and having a laugh and jabbing fun at each other. is all stuff that we've tried to do and reproduce here on this show. And so without further ado, we got some folks coming in. We've actually got one person that I don't recognize. So we're going to have to go too hot for Twitch for just a moment. For those that don't know. Yeah, I know it. So those that don't know, we take things too hot for Twitch. When somebody comes into the Zoom and it's a name I don't recognize, oh, they just disappeared. Never mind. So they come back. Okay.
I wanted a booty.
Hey, sometimes, you never know. And it's a free show for everybody in the Zoom. And unfortunately, sometimes it's just too hot for Twitch. And so we try to cover ourselves by going to the blank screen.
Scared of that cake. That cake is scaring me.
This is like the most polite thing I would do on this as part of my virtual cam. It gets pretty raunchy in there. So, but this is like, nice. And I just, sorry to take over for a second, Billy, but I made 2 changes to my wardrobe from my previous stream. I had a DMS hoodie, so I took that off because you're a big proponent of DJ City, so I didn't want to do that. And I went and had to I put the He-Man vibes on because I know you're a huge fan with the mashup with White Man Can't Jump. So these are all honors to you,
Billy, what'd you do with that money,
Billy? Where's my money, Billy?
Cleveland Terry coming in. Cleveland, you got no video, sir.
Yeah.
Let's go around the horn real quick. Josh McCarl, welcome, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, man. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you, man.
How's your stream earlier? Thanks for rating in.
Of course. Hey, it was pretty good. It was, the Monday afternoon delight, kind of weird, anything goes thing. We had a little game show. I gave away a prize pack and the X-Men #1 quadfold issue to the winner. So I started doing that on Mondays. Just, we have a heat press here at the house. My wife is very crafty, so
she's crafty.
We've been making our own things and sending them out, giving out the mugs and shit like that. So it's cool. Like it's nice because people throw bits and gift subs, and sometimes I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I feel like guys, you don't have to do this. Like, I appreciate it. Of course, we like it, and it's great. But I feel like I'd love to be able to actually give something tangible back. And that's kind of where that started. So today we did the Acted Out XL, which is basically like a Steam-driven charades, name that tune, Pictionary kind of thing. And, the winner got all that shit. So it's nice to be like, here you go, man. Like, thanks for hanging out. You won. Here's some stupid stuff that you're probably never going to wear.
It's funny you've gone on that journey because I've gone on the opposite journey. At the beginning of all this, I felt really bad about asking for anything. I was just like, I'm not going to ask for donations, bits, subs, anything. I'm just going to, hey, you can do your Amazon Prime one if you like. That's not going to cost you anything.
I'll farm the hell out of the Prime
level
sub.
5. Let's go. Level 5. Come
Whip
on,
those
let's go.
biddies out on the street, baby. Let's go. I'll play Come On Ride That Train if you do.
Yeah. Hey, there's a
It's
fine
the
line.
culture of Twitch, though.
Yep, exactly.
It's the culture of Twitch, and you can't be ashamed of it because that is what people on Twitch are used to. It's just the way things are. People show their support by dropping bits and subs and everything else. And so I'm not going to feel guilty about it. I'm not forcing them to do it.
It's a feather in your cap, sir, just to inflate your ego like a little bit more. I'm just kidding. That you've taken the time and put in the work to learn the platform, because there's plenty of people still doing stuff on the platform that don't quite get it, and you do. So big shouts to you, sir.
I'm just still way behind many other people.
Who rated us?
I'm trying.
KJ Saka just rated us. Holy shit. Yo, big up KJ Saka. That's huge. Shouts out to KJ Saka, absolute legend. Can someone please shout out KJ Saka in the chat? That'd be super
I did
dope.
already. Yep.
Hey Billy, what's the thing to the left of you?
What's to the left of me?
Is that your stand? What is that to the right of you, I should say? What is that thing right there?
Okay, this right here. Let me show you.
Yeah, the black.
Yeah,
okay.
I'll show you. It's a light tree. And it's okay. So this is we're gonna drop the curtain real quick here. Let me pin myself in. So what's going on is if I remove my virtual background, you'll see that the green screen is right there, but then I have all this white wall behind me.
Yep.
So I'm shooting green light onto the white wall in order to fill in the rest so that I can chroma key myself sitting at my desk with the virtual background. And I have 3-point lighting on me in the foreground so that I pop out. I don't have green bleeding on me from the lights behind me.
And you got your little your fake bokeh in there too.
Exactly. I put a little bit of a blur on it to make it a little bit of a depth of field. Fake bokeh. Absolutely right. Yep.
You can't be Joshua Carl. Nobody can be Joshua Carl.
I'm very beatable.
So yeah,
I'm just jealous of your abs. I'm just jealous of your abs, sir. That's
I mean,
all that does is tell me I need to get back into the gym.
And just as anybody who is thinking about, and A-Rock will chime in on this in a bit too. Anybody who's thinking about using light as a color source for keying, be very careful because light reflects and can cause all kinds of bleed issues and unwanted keying issues. So if you're doing this for like DJ gear, you might have a hard time keeping your DJ gear not keyed out because the light's going to be reflecting off of it. And you could accidentally get some color spill. So it works great for this environment because all you got to do is just light my ugly mug and put green behind me. But if you're doing it for a DJ stream, it can get kind of tricky. And it takes a lot of trial and error. E-Rock can testify to that. He's probably still working on it.
Shouts to Pioneer on the gloss black, by the way.
Yeah, right.
Can I just say congratulations, Billy, for the success and for hitting this milestone. That's absolutely amazing. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. I've been chiming in and because I didn't get any love in the chat. That's why I had to come into Zoom because I'm like, you don't see me at all.
Big lies. You're one of your mods responded, Billy.
I shot it.
You
get your shout out. Get that sub back.
What was I ignoring? I totally apologize. It wasn't on purpose.
No, I'm playing with you. I'm just busting your balls. But I will tell you this though. I will. They probably blocked me too. They're like, shh. But I will tell you this though, as far as YouTube is concerned, because I saw you were asking about what to do with your channel. I think your channel is fine for now. I think all channels evolve over time, but the more you make knee-jerk reactions to what you think people are going to want, the more potential that people are not going to understand what you're doing and disconnect from you. So keep doing what you're doing. What I would do is do the long form and then just cut up highlights. There's nothing wrong with reposting a video with just a good part of it. You can do both of those and still be okay. So just keep doing what you're doing. I went, MOJAXX knows, I went a year.
Is that a ghost?
Probably.
What was that?
It's my girlfriend getting ready for work.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
no, it's okay. We know Joshua.
Don't come too hot for Twitch out the shower, Jesus.
I was like, he took my idea. I thought I was the only one with ghosts.
So I went for about a year, at least 6-7 months with like no subscribers, like nothing. And it took a moment, and I can't explain exactly when it happened, but all of a sudden I was at like 500 and then 800, and I was struggling at the end of December to get to 1500 where you can monetize. And I remember that day specifically, it was like literally like 2 days before the end of December, like December 29th, it was like, you hit 1500, you can monetize now. So, but it took a while, and it took a lot of me continuing to shoot videos, post videos, and not question everything I was doing.
Bye, babe. Love you.
What?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Bye, babe.
Bye. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, ghost lady.
So all I'm saying is that it just takes a while to develop. Like I started making nothing but vlogs, and there was a lot of work put into vlogs, and I wasn't getting a lot of reciprocation from my vlogs. Like I would spend 3 or 4 days working on something, and then I'd get like 300, 400 views.
And these were like you going on the gig, and like you were telling the timeline of your gig. Yeah, I remember those. Those were great. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought they were great, and this is something that I know MOJAXX was talking about. I loved doing my vlogs, but the amount of work, the time put into them, and I'll still do them on occasion, but the time put into them for zero payout just didn't make any sense. So what I do is twofold. I'll do the vlogs sparingly, but I will also do, like you were saying, your rapid fire. Your rapid fire is very good. So keep doing your rapid fires because I think they're important for your stream. Keep doing the rapid fires, but then also have that extra thing. Start creating playlists if you don't have them. So maybe you got your DJs Not DJing in a playlist so people can go, okay, this is when I talk about gear. This is when I talk about playlists. This is when I talk about shows. Break them up that way.
Got it. Yep.
Yeah, but just look, keep doing what you're doing. My Wake Up in Cleveland show that I started, 4 months ago. When I started going live with those, I was getting like nobody, it was like 10 viewers or whatever. And then it started to pick up, but I was trying to shoot everybody to Twitch. And so then that's where my Twitch numbers went up. But I thought that nobody really cared. And then I get people like, oh, I really love when you had this guest on. Can you put that? So what I started doing was just cutting up clips, reposting those to the site. It's just about content, just getting content out everywhere you go, man. But you can't.
I have to say, sorry, Cleveland.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, anyone in the chat who's watching this, who's trying to think about diversifying Twitch and YouTube, one channel that's really worth watching is Alpha Gaming, Harris Heller.
Yes.
And I hate recommending him because he's too good looking and young and cool. Has cool hair. Like,
he does have a lot of checks on the list, doesn't he? He's got all the right.
It's really unfair, but he's got good stuff to say.
Joshua Carl has an unhealthy man crush on Harris.
I have the Harris Heller hentai shirt, so that's what you want.
But he's got good stuff to say about this balance between Twitch and YouTube and how you repurpose content and stuff like that. So yeah, if you're looking for advice on that front, it's well worth just digging into his channel a little bit. Even though he is impossibly attractive.
And he's building a ridiculous house.
I've been following that. Yeah. I've been following that. He's got
him and Apos Fox actually bought a house and he's building a new studio too.
Yeah, Apos says doesn't look as good as Harris, so I get why his numbers are different. But he's got great content though.
Are we vanity shaming YouTube content creators on the channel now?
Well, look,
not as pretty as the other
plastic
guys.
surgery, ladies and gentlemen. Plastic surgery.
He needs to drop like 3 to 5 pounds, get on a liquid diet for a little while, and then go.
I said this a couple weeks ago, and I didn't think I'd have to repeat it, but the show has reached a new low.
Hey everyone, I'm here. I'm taking it to a new low.
Hey, all right, MOJAXX, thank you. Keeping it going around the horn real quick. Catch 22 recently made partner. Congratulations, sir.
Congrats, man. Big ups.
Yep. Yeah. Congratulations, man. And welcome into DJs Not DJing. Appreciate you being here, bro. How was your stream? Thank you for raiding in earlier, by the way.
Hey, anytime. Can you guys hear me all right? My mic's way away.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're good.
Or my low. Okay. Yeah, it was good, man. It was a nice little pop-up stream that, as much as I can, I like to do this for anybody that's having any kind of anniversary or birthday or something. It's, like MOJAXX said, it's kind of like what we try to have happen in the drum and bass community and stuff like that, everybody's helping each other out. So it's awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to get partner. It's really amazing that, that was a huge deal for us in the community and it worked out. So that's cool. And I didn't happen to do any of the awesome things you guys are doing. You guys put a lot of work into YouTube videos and, shorts and everything. And funny enough, I was just talking with Joshua Carl about it. I backlogged all my sets, kind of like Cleveland Terry's gig things. And I was like, I'll chop them up or make videos on it. And every time I want to do that, YouTube's like, nope, you played LTJ Bookham. We're just going to block you completely. So I was like, I'll just pass it
Good
up.
looking's a no-go on YouTube.
No go. Yeah.
Nothing.
Alex Reese, no go as well. Yeah, exactly.
Can I ask about your partnership thing, right? When you did your application for partnership, did you go down the Billy route of putting a turd in an envelope and posting it through the letterbox?
Get him!
I don't know why it didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work.
It seemed to work for him. So I'm just wondering if it worked, how you approach it maybe differently.
I'm applying for partnership. Make me partner.
That's pretty much what happened.
Can do FedEx
Right
overnight.
now. Why am I not
overnight.
already partner?
No normal.
No, but I did get denied. I got denied a bunch of times. So yeah, I got denied. Well, a bunch of times. I got denied. It happened on my third time. So it took about 3 months.
Same with me. I was the third time also.
Third time. So maybe they just like, we'll just deny them twice, and on the third time it's a good go. I mean, I'm not sure how it works out because they give you 0 feedback. of
Yeah.
what you should do differently or better. They're just like, oh, you need to have, keep doing what you're doing. Well, what would you like me to do more? They never.
They're
give
like,
you
yes.
Yes, exactly. They're like, no or yes. Yeah. Form letter, or yes.
Now, it's interesting, though, because Billy, I watched your video because I didn't see the live, but I watched your video on you got rejected or denied. I don't want to say
People love
rejected
giving me shit for that, by the way. You're not the only
Yeah.
person who's.
Because
I
it's
can't
funny.
tell by the redness in your cheeks right now.
But it's interesting to me, though, because on your denial, the last one you got, I had never seen that denial. Everybody that was getting denied was like, nope, your numbers are growing. Just keep it up that way. You were the first person that I ever saw that said was, oh, your numbers are
Fluctuating.
volatile. They're fluctuating a little bit. And I thought, so does that mean there's a real person looking at it this time? Like it was just because I don't believe that on first applications, there's a real person that touches it all. It's purely numbers and that's all they care about. So the fact that you were the one that got another one that I'd never seen before, I thought that was a little odd. I thought maybe at that point,
Maybe my turd made somebody laugh. Maybe it is just like someone was like, somebody really did this. Like, and they just, and that's like the immediate rejection. The only thing I could
in this envelope.
And the fluctuating numbers are the DJs Not DJing show. I mean, there is a compared to the weekend, compared to the party, it's a focused stream, right? The content has a even more narrow market or target audience than on my weekends. That's how it is by design. I mean, there's less of us, right? And so especially less of us that want to talk on this level, right? Because
Billy, you see audio one?
Audio one
Yeah,
is in
that's
the
what I'm
chat.
dying
Number
over
one.
right now.
Number two, he posted Billy is a grower, not a shower. Pick up audio one. Go on.
Audio one, the
Love you, brother.
one of the original co-hosts on DJs Not DJing 1 year ago. It was Audio One and the homie Evan For Real and myself talking shop. And it's funny because if you watch back on those episodes, some of them are on YouTube.
Wait, hold on. Did he still have did he have a microphone or was he using this?
Yeah, he was
on the headphone.
What's up, Billy? Yeah, it was good to see you. Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was still using the headphones while DJing. And hosting with the headphones back then. And we were trying to figure it out. We were trying to you could see us starting to go like figure out the Twitch culture. And it's really cool to see that when you do your retrospect, you look back. If I was a good producer, I would have had clips of past shows. Maybe I'll do that this Wednesday. I'm looking for something to do this Wednesday anyway, so maybe I'll do that. I'll put together a package of like some clips of old shows and just kind of laugh at the embarrassment of us trying to pull it off back then and what it's become a year later.
Show, nice.
That'd be dope.
Going around the horn, Chris Hopkins, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man.
How was your stream on Saturday?
It was cool. It was probably one of the better ones I've done, actually. I think there's more DJs that are starting to want to come hear all this shit that nobody else is playing from me. So
yeah, you're good for playing the left of center selection and just having a nice vibe in your room, man. I enjoy chilling out on Saturdays. Good stuff. I usually tune into you after Make Friends, somewhere around in the early afternoon.
That's what I do too, is I watch Make Friends Radio and then I start my stream.
Nice.
That's every fucking Saturday. It's good.
Moving around the horn, Big Buddy Knock. Yo, thanks for the love earlier, man. How's your day going, Drew? How's your stream this weekend?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. Always fun. Doing my thing.
Yo, you recently added a new mixer to your setup, right?
The S11, yeah, man.
How's that working out for you?
I was lucky that my guy hunted down an SE, so I was stoked. Once I saw that, I was like, yeah, bro, I gotta go SE. So I'm super stoked on that. And yo, I actually owe MOJAXX a bit of an apology. I was when I was looking at your post MOJAXX that you put up the other day about this is 2021, how come DJ streams don't look a certain way, right? I was like, I don't know, MOJAXX. There's dudes who are doing amazing shit with shitty potato cameras and 720p. And then I watched MOJAXX's YouTube videos on the ATEM, right? And I was like, oh, I'm an idiot. This is dope.
No. Right. Okay. The thing was, I posted on Facebook about how I had to do a Mixcloud stream, like weekend before last. I had to do this stream. It was a charity stream, you know, loads of different DJs. And I was just pretty frustrated by the experience because it really hasn't changed in a year. And I appreciate them trying to do the licensing thing right. I get it. It's cool. But I just found it very frustrating as a streamer, as someone watching the other DJs in the chat about the fact that the event comes to an end and everyone just goes home.
Yeah.
Because you can't raid.
Right.
So like, okay, we'll go now. All right, bye. Like that, to me, that was just incredibly frustrating. And it's been a year. And for me, that's like, I just wasn't down with it. And I was talking about 1080p and everything else. And like, because I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Josh Carl. That's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Strobe. This is the kind of, because people are doing stuff on visual levels. That is, I'm a simple guy. I have a Blackmagic switcher. I have visuals playing on a loop that I just have a mask. Like there's nothing, I don't have a green screen. I do lighting and stuff instead. I'm a hardware guy. I like hardware. I haven't got time to devote myself to learn OBS, or I don't have the patience more than the time to learn OBS in the way that someone like Joshua Carl has learned OBS in the past year. Like, and also I don't have the design chops. That's the other crucial factor, is you want to see me designing stuff. It's like in 2001 when the apes discovered the tools. It's like me banging away on Photoshop like this. I just don't have those chops. And so I wasn't talking about me. And there are some DJs now today who are doing 720p, like one webcam. That's it, right? And they haven't got green screen, they haven't got graphics, they got nothing, but the tunes are fire, their interaction is fire. That's great. Sure. I'm all here for that. But at the same time, any platform that wants to be a competitive DJ platform needs to enable people like Josh Carl to do the kind of mad shit that Joshua Carl is doing.
Right.
Like I think that's my, and so that was my frustration. It's not about everyone has to be Joshua Carl, but if Joshua Carl exists, he should be able to do his thing.
You're making me post over and over again.
Yeah. Everybody just needs to
appreciate that, man. You know what's funny?
Disappear.
Yeah, that just pushed me out of here. I appreciate the love, man. And knowing that you recognize that, it means a lot to me. But I'd like to echo what you're saying. Anytime I see somebody with somebody pushing the bounds of the platform, there's somebody else doing one camera 720p 3500 kilobits that just has it. I don't know what to call it. The je ne sais quoi. Is that what it is? They have it, and they're crushing it. And that's the best part of this platform. It's not a bunch of penguins. We're not all the same. You can go in so many different directions and have success. Preach. So like, I don't look down or look even sideways at anybody doing anything different. I'm like, oh dude, look at this lane that this person's carved out. I'm going to borrow some of that. I'm going to and I think it's great for the platform. And I think it speaks to the creativity that lies in pretty much every DJ, because every DJ, no matter how good or bad, has that sort of, I want to create things. And it starts often with music, and then it often grows. How many DJs are now graphic designers out of the fact that they had to, or it became basically an influencer, on social media because they had to develop that sort of prowess in the world that we live in now to get gigs. Because let's face it, sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes just being an accomplished technical DJ isn't enough. Sometimes you do need other stuff.
That's real. And that's why MOJAXX's post, I really sat and thought about it. And I'm thinking like, let's circle back to Audio One. This man had a Newmark Scratch, one turntable, and was using headphones for a mic and was killing it, bro. Like killing it hard.
Yeah. Right.
And then I look at Joshua Carl's and I look at MOJAXX, and then I look at, like Billy and what everyone's doing. And I'm like, there's levels to this, bro. And I do feel what MOJAXX is saying, and I do feel like what Billy's saying to other people. It's like, yeah, man, at the end of the day, a dope stream's a dope stream. But at the same time, to co-sign where MOJAXX is coming from after I digested it, I was like, no, he's right, man. If you're going to be competitive in this scene, there has to be a certain style or a certain bar you're going to have to reach. And of course, we got, you know, the lightning in a bottle and the stuff that just kind of works because it does. But regardless to say, thank you, MOJAXX. Because of you, I'm now going to drop that $1,400 stimulus check and step my fucking game up. So, thank you, sir.
Which one? Which one you
A10
buying?
Extreme
Which one
coming
you
in
buying?
hot.
Yeah, 18
I'm
Extreme.
going mini pro. I'm going mini pro. I'm not going extreme.
You know what? I'm only going to say this because I've been there. You might want to get the extreme just because what's going to happen is you're going to get to a point where you're going to be like, oh, I wish you could do this. And all those I wish you could do's are on the extremes. Like everything.
I gotta research more. But
MOJAXX has one in his hand right
He's
now.
flexing tough right now. MOJAXX has got the fucking
just
heat.
arrived today. It just arrived.
Oh man!
Not even plugged it in yet. I haven't plugged it in.
Flexing super tough right now.
HDMIs. Look at all those HDMIs.
Oh my
8
gosh!
of them on the back. Oh
That's
my
insane.
gosh!
I
haven't
just
even got
love-
8 cameras.
Yeah, but how much is that?
Plug
Yeah,
your
but how much is
PlayStation
that
in.
one?
How much
It's
is it?
It's a
Yeah.
thousand.
Yeah, you can go with
About
a black, a
$1,000.
normal.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be devil's advocate here, but I mean, I had one stream, very little, no visuals at all, like one camera, very little visuals, just me dancing around throwing finger guns, and it works. Just stay in your lane. I mean, literally stay in your lane. Like, do what you feel you're the best at, and what makes you happiest. If you do that, the viewer's going to see that. But I just upgraded because Twitch has been kind to me, so I wanted to bump it up a little bit to the Black Magic card, the 4x4 4K one, and that one's a good entry level for people that don't have that kind of money or need that much processing power.
Word, yeah, man.
We throw one out to the chat real quick. Big up Biggie530 for the cheer. Thank you so much. Anonymous gifter. Thank you for the gifting a tier 1 to Rapbone. Rapbone is a mod in whose channel again? I forget.
Mine.
Yours.
Mine.
Big up.
Yep.
All of them.
Ratbone is everywhere.
Rapbone
Damn
does work. Big up Rapbone. Appreciate you so much.
He was in Cleveland's first. That's fine.
Audio 1
As
throwing
long
100
as they're
biddies
there
out.
when
Thank
I'm
you,
there.
Audio 1. Appreciate you.
What
In fact,
I
we
would
need
say, just to add on to what Catch-22 was saying, is that what you mustn't do is exceed your technological capabilities.
Yeah.
Don't try, like, it's less of a thing now, but a few months back, I was seeing loads of streams where people had that thing where, you know, you got like a million emotes all drop on the screen at once. They will like
Emote wall.
explode out and stuff.
Cabbage.
Yeah, like emote walls and stuff. And their computers would just fall down, like completely just keel over and die from this emote wall thing. And it's like, if you don't have a dope computer that can handle that, don't turn that on. Don't try and do tons of visuals if you haven't got a computer that can do it. If you've got it and you want to push it, by all means do it. But don't. The main thing is good quality sound and a clean looking video. Once you got that, you can experiment to your heart's content within the limits of what you have. But that's what counts. Good sound, clean video. Once you
I
got
always
that,
tell people to like
what you
work
want.
within their means. I was like, work within your means. If you want to gradually upgrade to the next thing or this or that, do it. But like, just because you see me or Joshua Carl or Billy or, you know, anybody, you know, on these streams that are like doing like really cool, dope shit that you know that you right now can't do, that doesn't mean that you have to go out and spend $5,000 to like figure out how to do it. Just
Exactly.
like, dude, the next thing I'm gonna upgrade is my mic, and then, you know, maybe I'll upgrade my video card, and then, you know, if partner comes, then I'll start shooting 1080p because I'm only doing 720, and like just moving like incrementally without you know, going out of this money, especially for like those of us that are like full-timers that don't know when we're gonna actually receive any kind of like steady paycheck again.
Wait. So what you're saying is you do dope shit. I saw you put yourself in that category. So
I do dope shit. I do dope shit.
I think it's safe to say
He's not wrong.
That's I do dope shit like this. It's fun.
Clearly, judging by the cake, you have those design chops. Clearly, you know, I can see you've got some artistry on.
But that's
on
my
display
thing that I like to do. So I don't expect when I go to and check out every other streamer, like I don't expect them. I'm not the bar for every streamer, but the stuff that I do see that they could be controlling and they are not doing it well. You know, I do take like, you know, come on, like you gotta, come on, like do this. If you're doing this, do this right. Like that.
I think everybody starts trying to do it all because they see everybody else and they're like, okay, this is what you're doing on Twitch, so I'm gonna do it all. And then they realize they can't. Some people are smart enough to say, you know what? I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to pull stuff down. I'm going to try to just do a clean. Like even for me, before I got this GOAT computer, I was using the ATEM exclusively. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to make a really, really clean stream. Just going to look clean. The resolution is going to be amazing. And that's going to be my thing. And I know MOJAXX is very similar to that. It's just like, let's just put on a great show, good music, be involved. And that's where you start. Slowly but surely, you can start saying, okay, I want some motion. I want this to happen. I want this to change. And then you just keep moving with it. And you go from there. I didn't start in March with an ATEM or with, I had my camera, but like all of this stuff that you see, this is all over the last year. Everything that it's in here is over the last year that I've continuously purchased and upgraded. Oh, I need new light panels. Okay. I'll go to Amazon, buy some Viltrox. So it doesn't just start with amazing. And you don't want to spend that money anyway in the beginning. What if you spend all this money
and you hate it,
and you realize you hate it?
And you don't
Exactly.
And you can tell
enjoy doing it
when somebody's streaming and they're not having fun and they're not being, we talked about this before, being disingenuous. We are learning or have learned over the last year to kind of pick up when somebody is being disingenuous, and you can see it in the chat. You can see it on the stream. The Twitch people have actually known this for quite a while. And they sniff out someone just here because it's a hot button place to be, or they're trying to just get money or whatever. It's painful to watch somebody genuinely look like they're not having fun on a platform where you're supposed to be spreading fun through your internet, through your show.
Sole purpose, right? You know what I mean? It's sole purpose. It's entertainment.
Right. Moving right along. Let's move down the horn real quick. Norbot K39, he runs a professional streaming company for corporations and for the state of California, and it's an honor to have you here. Actually, you're on my short list, and you already know this. You're on my short list for when 916 Junglist events come back IRL. I need you on my media team for our streams on site.
Actually, I've listened to everybody talk. I've been thinking about what is next of integrating all this great streaming stuff when we're allowed to start hanging out with each other. We're a little more vaccinated, like Billy was saying here at the studio. Just in the other room, I've got my sound stage, which is just a big warehouse. I've got a big green screen with a light grid. I've got two Technics with a good old O2 mixer, and I've got two bag-in 18-inch subs, and we can make a lot of noise here. So that's a big part that I miss. Of course, I'm sure all you do too, is the sound system aspect. So I'm curious from the group. I've been hearing. I forget who it was. Some DJ the other day said they were going to put a Cat 5 drop in their writer now. From so I would love to hear from you all. I'm a big fan of the ATEM switcher. I think it's a great innovation. I'm so stoked to hear that y'all are using it. It's super cool. I would just love to hear what y'all think about integrating streaming into more of a live. I mean, maybe it's only 10 of your friends. I don't know. That's something.
I think you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, I think as we transition into more people becoming vaccinated and the world opening back up, I can see a lot of us going back into the real world, right? And it would be almost foolish of us to not acknowledge what we've been building for the past year and incorporating that into our new workflows moving forward. And so the first thing I immediately thought of as an event producer here in Sacramento was, how am I going to produce a live stream on site? Not trying to be the next EDC production. Nocturnal's got that covered. Insomniac's got that covered. But I definitely want to be some sort of a live presentation of these. I think he's already bringing it out.
This is what I've been using. This is a Verizon Jetpack, and
5G.
I've done like full HD streams for long periods of time on this. There's some weird contractual things about this that Chris Hopkins, aka Hurricane, we've run into where they tell you that it's unlimited.
But it's not.
I'll put up a little warning flag here. So those work great in small venues and small places, but you get 500 to 1,000 people in a small area sometimes, and then those things just crater. But I will say, I'm 10 plus years on a Jetpack, never had an issue. and love them to death. So
Very cool.
big ups for those things. But yeah, that's my one thing. Cellular saturation. You get a whole bunch of people in one place. But other than that, man, yeah, they're killer. Great thing to have for as a mobile DJ for sure.
There's another technology that that we use called Live U, and that's basically it's like transmuxing. You've got like 6 antennas, maybe 8 antennas, and it'll use multiple networks. It'll connect to AT&T and T-Mobile at the same time. And what you're looking at on the other end of that is you're looking at a media server where you can go in and you can program in your Twitch publishing points. And that kind of a thing. And I expect those backpacks are really expensive, and but
you can actually buy a tabletop device about yay big. The emergency responders use them. They hold 3 SIM cards. They have 5 Cat5 plugs on the side, just an Ethernet switch on the side, so you can build like a whole home network off the dang thing. And then back to what you're saying, 3 SIM cards in there, fail it over, and no matter what, you can get some kind of network there, hopefully, right?
Absolutely.
I've seen firefighters using those when they were fighting the California fires. They were using those as mobile hots.
In Alaska. I streamed in that desert outside of Reno with just my iPad and that jetpack, like that Chris was just holding up, and that worked,
That was awesome. For those of you guys who don't know, Chris Hopkins drove out into the middle of the fucking desert and did a live stream in front of his RV. That was some gangster shit.
While the homie was painting a mural on the side of the RV.
Awesome.
Straight up Breaking Bad style, bro. It's dope.
moving around the horn. Thank you, Christian, by the way, for being here. I appreciate your knowledge. Moving around the horn. E-Rock already chiming in. E-Rock from Dallas, Texas. Tex Flex. How you doing, my friend? How was your week?
I'm doing great. My weekend was stellar, and the cat has decided he wants to participate.
Congrats on getting married.
I was going to say, congratulations. E-Rock just got married over the weekend. Congratulations.
Wait, there it is. Yep. Thank you guys very much, man. Appreciate it.
Burns, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It burns. I have to rotate it every once in a while.
That's your soul and freedom escaping.
I'm good with that. Lexi made the joke earlier that once you get the ring on, you have upgraded software. You go from boyfriend to husband or something like that. I thought that was a really good joke.
But it's also a corrupted software. Over time, it just falls apart.
Malware.
Oh, big ups, you guys. Thanks for the congrats there. Other than that, I'm doing great. Hey, Billy, man, congrats on the year, man. I don't know how many of these I've made, but it's just been great to see it grow from start to finish. And like I said, man, I'm thrilled to be here today. Every single one you've included me on, all the shows, everything that you've put out over the last year, man. You were talking about the GOATs, the top 3. You're definitely on the top 3 of my list, man, all day long, man. So big ups, man. Thank you for that.
Compliments to get you everywhere. Ratfink,
That's
welcome
right.
back.
That's right.
Ratfink, how you doing, my friend?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry I was a little late jumping on Zoom, but I heard
good.
you guys needed someone good looking with nice hair. I think I heard that.
We got it covered now. We're good.
So,
We're
yeah.
good to go. Yeah, this is our Harris Heller, ladies and
There we
gentlemen.
go.
Yeah.
And I figured out how Catch made partner, and nobody else has. You gotta get a cute dog.
Oh,
there you go. She was just here.
That's
Come
the
here.
trick. You got to get
That's
the cute
it.
dog. Okay.
Yeah, figured it out.
Appreciate you being here, Ratfink. Ratfink's going to
course.
be a guest on the channel for Inside the Ride pretty soon. I don't want to spill the beans, but for those of you that didn't catch his last set on Inside the Ride, he puts a lot of effort into these things. The last one he did took about at least 6 or 7 months of planning, and he scoured tens of thousands of video game soundtracks and found drum and bass music in these soundtracks. And then he put together a drum and bass DJ set of the music that he curated, as well as playing the video clips of the game that it represented behind him while he was DJing. And he had a whole hour set of this like incredible flashback of like all these going back to like 8-bit at 170 beats per minute, like sounds and stuff, like NES and stuff like that. And it was super thoughtful, and like I really enjoyed it, man. I'm looking forward to your next one. I know what it's going to be. I'm not going to spill the beans, but big up, Ratfink.
Yeah,
appreciate you being here.
And this is why Twitch rules.
Right.
You can't do that in a bar on a Saturday night.
You cannot do that in a bar,
Right.
dude.
You cannot do that in a bar on a Saturday night.
I would if
That's
Billy
why
books me.
Twitch
I'll do
rocks.
that.
Can the mods
mate.
post Ratfink in the chat, please, so we can all follow?
Yeah, shout out Ratfink in the chat, please.
I don't stream that often, so it might be boring to follow me. But I did put the YouTube link in chat if you want to check out that set. Yeah, it was a blast. I'm big into games, and so playing a lot of games, you hear the music, sometimes you kind of tune it out, but then I'd be like, oh, that's a drum and bass track, and I kept hearing just more and more over time as I got more into drum and bass, and I'm like, man, they're just amazing producers just that are completely unknown that are doing game music, and so that was kind of a big part of it, is I wanted to showcase that as well. So
It was good.
Good job showcasing it too.
When you you posted your archive to YouTube and you tagged all of the different producers and stuff like that in Twitter, that was amazing. And one other thing I want to point out about Ratfink, since we're singing Ratfink's praises right now, this is something amazing that he did. For those who don't know, on Saturday nights we do this thing called Open Up the Pit. Fader is famous for doing it on his Wednesday show as well. And what it is we have a giant mosh pit in the chat. I don't have it set up right now, or else we throw into it. But what's dope about the mosh pit game is that it brings everybody together and we all have a laugh, and like it's just a really fun interactive thing. And it's actually become a staple of Saturdays, and I leave it to Saturdays now. And one thing Ratfink did to go the extra mile was February, we created this merch, because part of the mosh pit game is you hit exclamation point dance to join into the mosh pit, and then as the mosh pit is going, you type exclamation point bottle in the chat to start chucking bottles at people that are trying to fight each other. And so we made these shirts that said exclamation point bottle, and we were selling these shirts as a merch gimmick for February, and it was super fun. Big up to everybody about the bottle shirt. I have an amazing slideshow. I bring it up all the time. I love the bottle shirt, fam. Big up, y'all. Ratfink went the extra mile, and he bought bottle shirts for every single one of the developers of the Mosh Pit game and sent it out to Germany, and they all now are rocking exclamation point bottle shirts for a game that they developed, a free game that they just put out into the world. So that's cool. Yeah, 6 different shirts that he bought for the developers, man. Super dope, man. Thank you so much. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, sure.
Can I?
Yeah.
I just want to say about tagging, like you said, Ratfink tagged everyone, all the producers on Twitter. That's really important, especially if you're playing a more kind of underground sound, like drum and bass, for example. Like every week I do a highlight reel for my progress show, and I do all my tracks on the mic in that show, but like I tag all the producers, all the labels, because although some of the majors might not approve of us doing this Twitch thing, for a lot of producers, they really appreciate you playing their stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
And so a lot of them are going to blank you and everything else, but some, like I've got probably about best part of a dozen smaller labels over the past year have added me to their promo list and are sending me music now because I tagged them on my IG posts showing that I'd played their tracks, and I did the track listing on the YouTube and everything else. And I've been added to these promo lists because they appreciate and I've had some young producers like, no one's ever played my stuff before. I'm so grateful for you playing my stuff. Awesome. Like,
yeah,
we are, as DJs, it's our job to support the music industry and the musicians, the artists, the labels. So make sure that if you're doing a little highlight clip on Instagram, tag the producer of that track.
Yep.
Because it might well make their day. It might make their week. Even if it's just you and I'm not a massive DJ, but they still appreciate the fact that I've put in the time to tag them and I've played their stuff. It's nice,
But there's a difference between the artist and the producer and then the label.
And distribution and publishing, yeah.
Exactly. Like the artists and the producers are always grateful for everything. They're not the ones who have the issue with us playing their music. That's not the thing. It's always labels and distribution that are the problem.
Right.
Which we'll never...
But Cleveland, you're more like a hip hop guy. I'm talking more to the Junglist crew here.
Yeah. You just wait, MOJAXX. You just wait. I got some jungle coming for you.
Oh, I can't. I can't even.
If you're tagging Sony Music, you're not about to get that share. Do you know what I mean? But if you're tagging, a small little drum and bass label, then they might well appreciate that because those guys, they're at the same level that we are. They're just out there trying to do their thing and grow their stuff, same as we are. So don't be afraid to tag people in your stuff. That's what I would always say. It's important.
Here's a running joke on this channel, which is pretty funny, is that I'm not allowed to play my own music because I immediately sue myself.
Yo.
And yeah, the problem, and I'm getting DMCA'd every single time for playing my shit, right? And I have a decent catalog on Beatport Link. Plug. If you guys want to check out my tunes, go ahead. Billy Lane on Beatport Link. But the problem is that the publishing company, it goes up the line, right? I'm on a label that's being published by a bigger distributor. The bigger distributor in this case is an independent branch of Sony called ATV. And Sony ATV is bunning me down immediately now. Like I am like on the red list radar, and it doesn't even get close to any kind of a play. And
Billy's the Drake of drum and bass right now.
It's bad. And I'm in communications with the label, and like he's saying, we're trying to get it whitelisted. We're trying to get this thing taken care of. And it's just a big circle that we're running into. I'm disputing on Twitch. I'm disputing on YouTube, and it's not getting lifted. I'm not even getting replies yet. And so
on your own music,
on my own music, right? And so the running joke is that I'm not allowed to use my music on my streams, or else I'm going to sue myself. And we're actually trying to think of a way where I can, profit on it by, taking money out of my right pocket and putting it into my left pocket somehow with this DMCA fucking situation.
But that's why though you shouldn't take what you're doing to yourself personally,
right?
Because it's all this machine, like no one's out to get us. It's just how the machine works. And we just have to work within the parameters that are given to us.
We got to fix the machine.
That's how it is.
Rage against the machine.
That's maybe a bigger problem for another day. We just have to work within that. And so don't if your stuff gets blocked on YouTube, don't take it personally. Just play different stuff, try different labels. You've just got to do. We have to work within these parameters that we have, and if you try and fight against it, you're just fighting. You're fighting the tide. You are literally wasting your time. Like, just don't.
I mean, well, in fairness, they are doing what you hired them to do. Like, you want to protect. It's just backfiring on you, unfortunately.
I have a question.
I do have a question though.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just. What Darth Vader? What's hanging from Billy's Speedo?
The sunglasses or the
taco? It's a taco.
Or his penis.
I think Terry just made us all look really close at Billy's junk.
All I got to say is I'm disappointed in the amount of thigh shadow. That's all I'm saying. I'm disappointed in the amount of thigh shadow. It could have given me a little more love in the thigh shadow.
Hey
area.
man, big ups on your grooming, by the way.
Yeah, that's all Photoshop. That's all Photoshop. Amazing. I haven't cut my hair in a year. All of them.
Dad jokes.
Big up, y'all. Cleveland Terry's son is in the house. What up? I forgot your son's name. I really apologize.
It's my favorite Bones. What up, Isaiah?
That's Izzy B. That's Isaiah.
Izzy B. What's happening? Welcome to DJs Not DJing.
He's going to dance right now. Hopefully he won't get any more racially discrimination. But
I was going to say,
I heard about that, man.
Pop,
That's so
pop
bad.
a Karen in the face or what?
I know it. So we were talking about the struggles of DMCA, and this is actually a perfect segue into something I wanted to just hammer MOJAXX on, and we can all just gang up on him right now. MOJAXX.
What did MOJAXX do?
I know it. MOJAXX is part of what I consider sort of a leading the charge in the future of how we're going to be consuming and playing music as DJs. And I'm talking about is Beatsource Link and Beatport Link. And I can see that this way of DJing and curating music through a streaming service like this, I could see this being a way of creating an accountability to where we can eventually create some sort of a licensing that pays artists fairly per stream. And MOJAXX, is there anything that you can say to like kind of acknowledge that in any way? Is this something that Beatsource is thinking about?
No.
Okay.
Basically, like the whole thing is with streaming, one of the big benefits of streaming for everybody involved is that the right people get paid.
Yeah.
Because as a rule, the collection, organizations, they take this pot of money and they divide it up, and like a massive percentage goes to Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift and these big artists, right? And what is more democratizing about streaming is the fact that every play is logged. You can see if this little underground white label producer their stuff's getting played they can get paid the right amount properly. And this is when, like, it was about the beginning of 2020, and I was at the In Music event with like DJ Mag, Resident Advisor, these kind of guys, and they're like, this is a big problem for especially like the dance music industry, is that the artists do not get royalties at the level that they should get royalties, because no one knows what's being played in the clubs. You know, like it's so rare that you'll actually get a dedicated track listing, you know, provided by each event. You know, how many times have you guys had to do a track list for a collection service?
Never.
Or for a collection organization. I never have in my career.
Not for a nightclub.
I've
not
heard
once.
of it.
Yeah.
Festivals and stuff, yeah, for sure. Like radio, for
Radio,
sure.
yep.
But I've never had it in a club, and I've been DJing best part of 30 years, right? So that's one of the great things about where this is going, is that, yeah, if we're playing from a stream, that person, that correct artist, that correct label gets paid for that stream, for when that happened. Whether that could expand out into some, I saw the bit when you were talking about this, whether that could be expanded out to future licensing for streaming, etc. I just don't know. Like, if those discussions are happening, they're beyond my pay grade. You know what I'm saying? That's not, I make videos about shit. That's what I do.
I feel you.
So I don't know, but I can personally, I can see that as a future direction. I can see that's a way to go, because the technology exists. Like, I'm using this sequence overlay thing right now. Like, on my streams, you click on the Beatport icon on my stream, and it's got a live track listing going on with a link to Beatport. You can go buy the track that I'm playing right now. And I find that's so good from my point of view. I feel great about that, because I'm supporting these smaller independent labels, and I want people to go and stream or buy their stuff. So and that's why I do a Spotify playlist now every week. I transfer my Beatport Link playlist over to Spotify. You can go and stream the stuff that I played, and those artists are going to get paid. Like, that for me is wonderful. I love being able to give back in that way, you know. So even though each stream is only a small amount, eventually it adds up. If everyone was doing that, then eventually those numbers add up, and the artists get paid what they should get paid. So yeah, it's
to further
definitely
drill
a
down on
direction
that,
it could go.
To further drill down on that, one thing, first of all, those are all beautiful things. And if you add in an API like Twitch, like if you have like an e-token with Twitch or something like that, then you can also account for how many people you're streaming to. And there can be an adjusted pay grade to the artist based on that as well, in my opinion. And that's even further being fair to an artist. In other words, you know, somebody who has, let's say, 1,000 people watching them, and you're playing this song for 1,000 people, there could be an accountability with that using Beatsource Link and like a Twitch API integration, right? And there would be a different rate of pay to the artist for somebody who's streaming to 1,000 people versus somebody who's streaming to 10 people. That would be, you know, there's a different output, a different reach involved with that. Now, obviously, you're talking about reaching into our pockets or somehow when it comes to the accountability and the payouts when it comes to that. But I think that really you're starting to see us getting past these barriers that were kind of puzzling to us at first. Yeah. And when it comes to, you start thinking about incorporating stuff like a Beatsource link, and then a Twitch API that can monitor what you're doing, what you're playing for, how many people you're playing it for. That's opening up some doors, in my opinion, for money to be made. The bottom line is, you know, let's make money for the music industry, make money for the artists that we're playing. None of us want to be thieves. You know what I'm saying? None of us are trying to you know, secretly rip off the artists for our own gain. It's literally because there's no systems in place for us to do it right. Am I wrong? Is that how it's pretty much where it's at? Or
absolutely. And that, you know, I've sold a lot of records this past year. I have sold a lot of music.
Me too.
I've led people to stream a lot of music. Right? I've done that because I do all my stuff. I track list my stuff. I do the Spotify playlist. I do everything I can to make the music that I play accessible to people. And if I'm playing like a old school house set, that's not so relevant, right? Because, you know, it doesn't, you know, Todd Terry doesn't need that couple of cents from somebody discovering Keep On Jumping 25 years later, right? That record's been out for a minute, right? But this new stuff that I'm playing,
he made all really the money important. On vinyl with that one.
Yeah, you know, I'm letting people hear new music, and that's my job as a DJ, is to expose people to new music in the same way that I want to hear new music. And so I just think it's absolutely crucial. The fact that there isn't this, I'm surprised that Twitch hasn't sorted it out yet. I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe the music industry is too hardball. You know, I don't know. But there is a future there. And I see you curmudgeonly old bastards on here talking about how streaming ain't the one. Streaming is the one. Streaming is it. You lot are wrong.
We've had this episode.
Yeah, we've had this episode.
Well, I'm here now.
Yeah.
Right. Trust
I'll
me.
stand on the rock
listen.
with you, man. I'll stand on that rock with you because
right there too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I was that guy in
whatever it takes. I don't
2018. In 2018, I was syncing music to my iPhone through iTunes with a cable. I wasn't even doing it wirelessly, bro. I'm old school, right? I was literally, if I wanted to listen to some tracks, I'm plugging it into iTunes and I'm transferring those playlists over, right? That was me. I was late to streaming in general, like Spotify and stuff. I didn't get it at all. And then when we started this Beatsource thing, I was like, really? Like streaming? Is it the one? I just don't know. I stream everything all the time now, literally. Like I couldn't do my Sunday show without Beatport Link because I play 50 different liquid drum and bass records every single week. Right? I don't repeat. I've repeated in 15 weeks. I've repeated like 4 tracks a couple of times. That's it. I play 50 tracks every week. I couldn't afford that. Like that's what's that like $80? Like I couldn't afford that every single. I don't earn that from my Twitch stream. And like Wednesday nights, I play like 20 brand new releases. You know, I couldn't do that without Beatport Link. And I say Beatport because that's the genres I'm playing right now. I'm playing house and I'm progressive house and I'm playing drum and bass. But once we get back to real life and I go and do gigs for real people again, I'm going to be playing Drake and I'm going to be playing open format music again, right? So like I'll be Beatsource all day then. You know, it's for me, I need both. Not everybody does. You know, some people don't need Beatport, some people don't need Beatsource. I need both. But like the workflows are getting better and better all the time with the offline locker storage. You've got, you know, how many tracks, be real, right? How many tracks in your library have you never heard?
Oh, a ton, especially if you're open
Way
format.
too many.
How many?
Yeah.
Way too many.
Yeah.
How many? I was up to like 60,000 tracks, right? But it was around like the end of 2019. I had like 60,000, which is not that much. I've heard of DJs with triple that amount of music in their library, right? I had about 60,000 and I realized I probably hadn't heard 20,000 of those. They were like promos that I got or it's stuff I'd got from DJ City. It's like the hot new release and I've never just downloaded it. It was there. I've never played it. There's records that I've played once. There's records that I've played 3 times 3 years ago. Never going to play them again.
Right.
Why do I need all of this music in my library? I don't. Some of music, not all of it, but some music is kind of disposable. You know, those big new like hip hop tracks that are popping in the club this week, in 6 months' time, you'll never play it again.
Right.
So why do I need that permanently in my library? I don't. So I cut my library down before Beatsource Link started. I cut my library down to like 5,000 tracks and I was brutal, properly brutal. I was like, right, one version of everything. I don't need 6 versions of Get Your Freak On. I don't need that. I need one. I need that one version that I play every time I play Get Your Freak On. I just need that one version. Delete the rest.
Right.
Yep. Have I played this? And that's why play count was a massive.
I was just going to say that was a huge exposure. Yep. That was a huge exposure was the play count. As soon as I was able to create my own personal charts, right? Basically you're creating your own charts at that point of your top played tunes. You're able to see just how much music you are not playing. Right. And it's an eye opener. It really is. And the streaming thing is
Serato
definitely
forever, by the way.
What's that?
It took Serato forever.
It did take Serato forever. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
They
on
were the
Record Box
last
early.
ones,
Just the way that we consume music as DJs. Honestly, we're up to about 10 years late compared to the rest of the world. The rest of the world has been on Spotify, has been on YouTube, has been on Apple Music, listening to anything they want under the sun. They ask their phone to play something for them and it plays it, right? And so as working DJs, a lot of us have experienced that firsthand when they are completely puzzled that you can't play this song off of their phone that they're holding in your face. And it makes no sense to them in their world why that's impossible for a DJ to do. And it's because the way that we consume music is different than them, right? And this is kind of bridging that gap. We're kind of catching up in a lot of ways to consuming music the way that the rest of the world does. That's the way that I'm seeing it. And unfortunately, with DJing it gets a little more complicated because, you know, if you're going to require an internet connection, if you can't deal with the 50 offline locker or whatever you need to have a bunch of stuff solely dedicated to server based, or if you're using the Denon Prime engine that's, you know, serving off of Dropbox, you can do that now too. There's all kinds
The thing
of
is here, right? I'm talking here to a bunch of middle-aged men, right? DJs
Right.
who've
Whoa,
already
whoa,
got a
whoa,
collection,
whoa,
right?
whoa,
Right.
whoa.
We've already got our collections. I'm
Oh.
including, you know, I'm including myself here.
Jesus, I'm not 40
we've
yet.
got our
Like, come
collections.
on.
Yeah, that's you're close
you
enough. I'm
fit.
sure.
You're close enough, man.
Like we've got our collections, and those collections are important to us, right? And we
Right.
wouldn't want to get rid of. You know, I still have my entire music library on a hard drive. It's just not in my Serato and my record box anymore. And so I'm talking to people who've already got a core collection that, you know, you can go out with that core collection. You're never going to be short. But do you need that new hip hop track that you're not sure about? Do you need to have that downloaded permanently to your computer, or can you just throw it in your offline locker and try it out? And then if you really like it, you could go buy it or get it from DJs or whatever. Like it's not all or nothing. You don't have to be all streaming. Like when I go out to DJ again, my main residency is under a bridge in the middle of Newcastle. I barely get like 3G, let alone 5G. And so unless they do run me an Ethernet cable, I'm going to have issues streaming. I'll probably be playing on 45s, but like, you know, it's not all or nothing. But as a part of your toolbox, I think it is you've got to try it and just dive into it to understand it. I'm genuinely not saying this because I work for Beatsource and Beatport, right? If they didn't exist, I've said this in one of my videos. I think our services are the best. We wouldn't make them if we didn't think they were the best services. But if they didn't exist, I'd be using one of the other ones, not the other one because it's shite. But there's one that's okay and there's one that's terrible. But like I'd be all about the other one because this technology, once you've had it inside your Prime players, once you've had it inside your record box, your Sarai, it is game-changing stuff. And I'm not saying that as an employee, I'm saying that as a DJ. It has transformed the way that I DJ in a positive way, and I'm so stoked for the future of it. I'm hyped for it.
The support for this.
So everybody
channel,
in the chat's getting a free 1-year thing. Thanks for MOJAXX, right? You get a subscription.
look under your seat. Yeah.
Sorry, Bill, I gotta jump in because I gotta head out. But I want to say congrats on 1 year. It's been crazy. MOJAXX, thanks for coming on the show. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
And I want to give you guys a topic to discuss without me. So, what would you think about? You know how Amazon has affiliate links? What about if Spotify or Beatport or something had affiliate links? Obviously, that would be the revenue back to the DJ, but I thought it'd be another interesting revenue stream.
That's a great incentive. It's a great incentive for people that are influential to start creating Spotify playlists, especially if they get a kickback from that revenue, right? That would
okay, gotta go.
All right.
See you guys.
Later, brother.
Keep talking.
Fast chair.
That is an awesome idea, actually.
I mean,
go ahead.
Well, when we talk about, you know, DJ streaming, Spotify have indicated they're not interested.
Not at all.
Like they were in algorithm DJ, they've pulled out of that. Spotify, they're not in the conversation because they're not interested, and that's fine. Like there are other players who are interested, and that's all good. But like, you know, there's lots of possibilities around ways that we can work with things like affiliate links and stuff in the future. Some of that stuff's got to come down the line because fundamentally, like Beatsource and Beatport Link, they're very young technologies. You know, we are still at the beginning of this thing, and there's some stuff that we can do, we can't do, and we'll get there eventually. But I'd love to see affiliates. That would be great. Yeah, that would be super dope.
I think that'd be super dope as well. For those who are just tuning in, we are on the horn with my man MOJAXX for the first time ever, and it's a huge honor. Thank you for being here, man. I really appreciate your time.
Honored to be here.
We've actually crossed the 2-hour mark, and so I'm happy with going overtime. I have no problem with it, but I want to be respectful of everybody else's time and let everyone know if you guys got to dip or do whatever you got to do. I understand, including MOJAXX. If you have something scheduled after this hour, feel free to just let us know you got to go. And we're officially in overtime, and we're talking shop. And shouts out to all those in the chat. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate all the support. A little bit of a testimony to the support. The support for this channel has afforded us to be able to have Beatport and Beatsource Link subscriptions currently. And so I've been able to check those out and give feedback on it on DJs Not DJing, and I am a proponent. I am absolutely a fan of this. I can see there being some hurdles, and I can see some DJs, being standoffish to it in a lot of ways, and that's kind of our nature. Because, a lot of us are just kind of iffy about change in general, especially if we've become accustomed to a workflow that has been successful for us for years. So I can understand the apprehension, and I can understand the standoffishness to wanting to do something new or something to change. But I can tell you from a firsthand experience, I know Man in the Bag has been on a subscriber for a while as well. We've talked about this. It's a really dope way of bringing a huge catalog of music into your world and sharing it with people. And I definitely recommend folks try the trial out. This is me not selling it. MOJAXX and I did not have a conversation about, Billy, can you please try to sell anything for Hamidi or anything like that. There's no pitch here. I'm telling you firsthand experience, it's worth checking out. If you're into more of like an open format, multi-genre type of environment that's less centered around electronic dance music, I would recommend looking into Beatsource. And if you're more of an electronic dance music centric minded individual as a DJ, I'd say check out Beatport Link. Both of them are actually really good to look into. So take a look.
I just use them both. I mean, that's the thing. The way that I sell this stuff is I use it on my. I don't come on things like this to talk about it. What I do is I use it. I use it on Twitch. People can watch me, and like my followers, my fellow DJ followers, they're gradually all moving over to it because they see how I'm using it and how I'm getting the value from it. Yeah, there's still prep work to do. It's not like a walk in the park. You still have to like set your beat grids and set your cue points and all this kind of stuff. But those live on. And so yeah, I've now my liquid playlist for Sunday night is now 2,500 tracks deep. Nice. I'm going to play 50 different tracks every Sunday for the next year, and I'm not going to repeat
MOJAXX
myself.
beat on that one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I've got 2 weeks worth of 10 years and 7 keys that I've been digging for one set.
Nice.
Well, especially what you guys are suggesting is going to be great, because for a person like me, like I've been, I think even MOJAXX knows this because of coming in. I've been vinyl for a long time, like forever, 20 some years, 23 years or something like that. And me trying to find digital tracks or looking back through my old collection, from 2000 when you were trying to save space, ripping tracks and things like that, they're not good. I love to listen through them. They're not good. So for somebody like me, I could get on a service like that and not have to rebuy a lot of the stuff I already have, and I can use it.
That's a solid perspective.
I really hate vinyl rips. I hate them.
I do too. I hate them.
I've tried everything to get good ones. I've tried hi-fi needles. I've tried everything possible. They never sound as good as just a straight digital file.
Right.
Like vinyl played live sounds incredible, but vinyl rips, I've never heard one that actually satisfied me properly.
It's tough.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And also to go back to when
especially because a lot of these labels are releasing digital remasters of their shit that sound better than the master that was made for a record. Because when you master something, you're purposely mastering something a certain way when you want to press it to vinyl. A lot of it has to do with like taking things from a certain frequency down to mono, cutting off some of the top end as well, and you're actually left with something that technically is a lower fidelity than a digital master. And so when these cats like the Metalheads and the Ganja Crew cats and the Ram Recordings cats, they all started, and other labels from that era from different genres, they all started re-releasing their music as a new mastered version. They shit all over the vinyl masters. Like they sounded so much better. Even if you were to do a beautiful rip with a super hardware intense post-production mastering studio and a $15,000 hi-fi turntable with a $3,000 needle, like if you went there with it, you probably still couldn't get what the digital master remaster was able to achieve. That's just what I've experienced.
Yeah.
Quick question on the Rekordbox and Beatport Link, Billy. Performance mode only?
What about it?
Do you know if it's performance mode only? So when you run Rekordbox and Beatport Link or Beatsource or any of those, you have to run Rekordbox
It doesn't work through Pro Link. It only works through the performance mode. Yeah.
It makes me a little sad.
It completely disables the touchscreen on the 3000 in that example when you think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm blessed. I'm currently going week to week. 1 week CDJ 3000s and a DJ MV10. The next week Prime Series and a Play Differently Model 1.4. That's my alternate setup every week.
What are you doing?
I'm trying not to play favorites, but
What
I
are you
have
doing for the 3000 then? Yeah.
The 3000s I use performance mode. Yeah, and they are just not as good in performance mode is not as good.
It's awful.
But it does work.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I'm really hopeful. I mean, one thing they did change with the recent firmware on the 3000s is that now you've got the ability to fully cache a track in there. So when you load it up, it just goes, it saves the whole track in there. So that for me sounds like a step towards being able to cache a track from a streaming service.
They'll have
So
it.
I'm not,
That's such a big thing compared to the Denon, right? So it's on a wait. I'm just fingers crossed. That's the only thing I'm waiting on, I guess. Then that was my question. Sorry.
One thing I've noticed
one of
too,
those things.
and this isn't time to start throwing jabs at MOJAXX for shit that we don't like about anything that he's reviewed. But one thing that I've noticed with Rekordbox in performance mode, a feature that I use in Rekordbox quite a lot is the recommended tracks feature, and so what it'll do is it'll create you could target the deck that you're on, deck 1 or 2, let's say. And based on the song that's playing, it automatically gives you recommendations of stuff that's in a similar BPM range and a key range and all kinds of other parameters that you can set in like a smart playlist sort of environment, right? And I have noticed that the recommended track section in Rekordbox performance mode doesn't work with cloud-based services. So Beatports and Beatsource Link recommendations, they don't come up. Those songs in my library that have been added to my library that require the connection to Beatport Link, when the connection is there and it's all live, those tracks don't actually get recommended in the recommended section. So that's something I would like to see in an update for a Rekordbox performance mode. But
Rekordbox, like Pioneer DJ, I've got to give them credit. They were the first ones. They were our first partners. We were in there first of all. What hasn't happened since then is any kind of change to it. It's been the same since day one. So I'm hoping we'll see some upgrades in the way that works in the future. And then Serato, it's a great integration in many ways, but there's other things I'd like it to do. Like with Rekordbox, you can't, you can mix tracks in a playlist.
I love that.
Which is cool.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great. But you can't feed data back to the link service. So if I've got my playlist in Beatport Link and I want to take a track out of it, I can't do that in Rekordbox. I can do that in Serato. So at the moment, I'm using a combination of the Prime software, Rekordbox, and Serato to manage all my stuff.
Wow.
As well as the Beatport and Beatsource websites, because I've got my workflow and how I want to do things. And the Denons only get their BPM from the website, from the data that's on Beatsource or Beatport. And a lot of drum and bass on Beatport is 116 BPM, which obviously it isn't. But that's
right.
how it's come through. And so if you load that into a Prime player, it just reads it as 116, and then the beat grid's totally off. You can't loop properly and stuff.
No, effects are all fucked up.
There's all sorts of workarounds. Yeah, so there's all kinds of things that you have to do right now. As I say, it's young technology, it's new, and we will, we with our hardware and software partners will figure this stuff out. I'm obviously talking back to them and telling them what I want as a user of it. I've got that direct line to Denon HQ, so I'm like, yo guys, I need this, make this happen, please. So it's young, but when it works, it's magical. When you've got it's a perfect, my Sunday night playlist, I go by key because I'm not playing for a crowd. I'm not playing trying to rock a dance floor, so everything's harmonically mixed. And my beat grids, I've put time in, everything's on point, and I've just put together wonderful sets that I just really enjoy playing. And thankfully, there's enough people want to watch and listen as well. It's like a lurker show. I don't use a mic or anything, just pure inside the ride, as we say in the Junglist world. And but that's all off. There's maybe some stuff that I've got some more white label kind of vibes that is in my own crates as well. It doesn't. Again, it's not all or nothing.
Right.
doesn't have to be all one thing at one. You know,
And I think
I
that's
can play a gig on.
I think that's kind of what happens too when you start introducing this change. Is a lot of folks instinctively want to draw a line in the sand and say it's got to be this way or that way, when what you're saying is absolutely true. A lot of us have already curated music libraries on our own at this point, and so adding this on as a tool in your toolbox is definitely only going to work to your advantage. No one is saying that you got to dump your library that you've been building for decades, and nobody's saying that you can never play records again. Even right? It's
when
just
CDJs came out, I didn't burn all my vinyl.
Right, exactly.
They're still when Serato came out, actually, I did kind of throw away all my CDs, but that's that's it. When Serato came out,
dude, I was the guy.
Eventually did go, but
I was the guy who still brought a bag of records to every gig for a year after I started using Serato. Like, I did not trust it at all. Yeah. And I was ready to go straight analog for a very long time, like 04, 05, 06, whatever it was, around in that area. I was ready to go vinyl if I needed to at any moment.
But on the gear loadout, where's the emergency bag?
Yeah, exactly. It's a similar thing, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with being a hybrid of technology, part of.
Hey, Billy, can I ask MOJAXX a question real quick?
Of course, that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Hey, so MOJAXX, the fact I'm like a diehard when it comes to Link, it's like my lifeblood. Like, I run the Facebook forum. Like, it's just, I probably have all my hard drive is Happy Hardcore, and the rail stuff that I play on a daily basis is all on Link playlist. So the question is that the issue I'm having now, and I don't know when I figured this out, is the stuff that I'm pulling from Beatport, I'm analyzing it in Serato, and it's telling me that it's different. Why are all the tracks in Beatport not the same as Serato? Like, which one's right?
That's the info that comes from the labels when it's ingested, because all of these streaming services, they're like digital streaming providers. Effectively, they all get ingested by the labels. That's what comes from the labels,
right?
So it's not, or from the service providers. That's what they give. So all these 116 BPM drum and bass tracks, that's just the information that's come through. And I'm guessing that's some kind of auto analysis. It's not the labels writing down 174 BPM on it. It's coming through some kind of auto analysis further up the chain.
Right.
What I'd love to see eventually is some kind of system whereby when people analyze stuff, that BPM data goes back to the service and it gets updated.
I just don't know why Beatport hasn't taken the entire catalog and completely run it through and analyze.
Well, there would still be some inconsistencies. I mean, sometimes even the Record Box DJ program, when it runs an analysis, I've gotten two different results in the past too. Sometimes it just depends on the actual media that you're analyzing.
Too, it's not always accurate. It's just like that digital,
you have to set a range sometimes, to get the right BPM and that kind of stuff. You imagine doing that for millions of tracks.
Right.
It has to be automated. That's the thing. Whatever happens, it has to be fully automated. And there's no system that is fully automated and could do that job perfectly all the time. And so I think eventually we'll get there, and I think it might be part of like a crowdsource thing. So if I do a beat grid and a BPM analysis on this track, and then it goes back to the service, I'd love to see that happen. Again, that's down the line, wishful thinking on my part. I hope we can get there. I'm not part of those conversations, but I'd love to see that too. I mean, for me, it's.
If you see enough people doing that same thing and then reporting it back, like if it was like, you're doing this and Billy's doing this and I'm doing this and Man in the Bag's doing that, like we're all changing the beat, like the BPM or the value in the beat grid of this one track, and then it's like getting, kind of like auto adjusted up above, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is my thing, right? A lot of loads of the drum and bass on Beatport is 87. It's not 175, right?
Exactly.
174. So on the Denon, because I was playing on the Denons, they can't analyze the BPM. I have now, and this is like heresy to me almost, like all my drum and bass is now 87.
Yeah.
It's not 174 anymore. And it always used to be 174 because when I was open format, I'd go from like the 100 BPM hip hop R&B up to 110, up to house, up to like dubstep 140, like that kind of tempo.
Climate.
And then I'd make my way to drum and bass at 170. Now, I'm all about this 87 life because I actually I'm a massive fan of delays and echoes. That's my jam. Like I love to dub shit out fully. That's my thing. And I actually find a 3/4 echo at 87 sounds better than a 3/4 at 174. So I've now, my whole outlook on life has changed and I'm fully 87 all day, which is a real surprise to me, but I just like how it sounds better.
It swings nicely with the
effects.
bass line that way. If you're doing a 3/4
Yeah.
instead of a full 12th note at 170 beats per minute,
Yeah.
that's fucking doing a little bit of wonkiness. It actually would almost sound train wrecky a little bit at that speed. So I totally hear what you're saying. Me, my OCD couldn't live with it. The 88 BPM backpack hip hop has got to stay down there, and the 174 has got to be up at 174. So the OC DJ in me just can't take it. I'm over there. I know the hotkey by heart. It's Alt A and Alt S on deck 1 in performance mode to half or double the BPM, and so Option or Alt, whatever your key is on whatever system you use. But yeah, and so I'm constantly fixing that on the go. If I see it's half or double, I'll bring it to the correct one. But yeah, as far as like the Denon players, I don't have any experience on that. That seems like it could get frustrating, them not being able to auto analyze a BPM on the player itself. I'm still
working on that.
I still
been in their ear about that.
Gotta give hats off to Denon though. Their innovation in the past 12 months has been incredible. And I'm fully drinking the Pioneer Kool-Aid. Like I have Pioneer everything in my rig, including an XPRS PA. Like I have Pioneer everything, right? So for me to like acknowledge what Denon is doing, it took years of me hating on him before I finally said, okay, I see what they're doing. I see the innovation and I respect it. And I think it's super dope. It was kind of awesome. This is right out of the Billy Lane playbook, that they released players that had Wi-Fi cards in them the whole time and didn't tell anybody about it until it was like a secret feature update that happened like months after they were actually released. That I was like, okay, these guys are fucking cool for that shit. That was a good troll right there. I did not see that coming. That one blindsided me. And I remember MOJAXX doing his video on that, and I was like, no way. These things have had Wi-Fi cards in them the whole time, and they just kept it under wraps and didn't even make it a feature on the release.
I think it's like these are still very, very dope. Like these are just superb, right? There's no doubt in my mind. These are superb. The CDJ 3000s are beautiful bits of hardware.
Love mine.
They're just a bit behind what Denon are doing.
Right.
That's that end of story. Like they're just a little bit behind right now. I'm confident they've got the power inside them that they can catch up with this hardware. I think there's enough under the hood that they can do it, but they haven't done it yet. And so, yeah, I'm not. I used to be a Pioneer fanboy fully because I just like their stuff, not because I'm like, oh, I want to be a friend of Pioneer. I just like Pioneer DJ stuff. I have, like my mixer of choice fundamentally for most of my career has been a Pioneer mixer.
900
since
Nexus.
the DJM 500.
Since the
back
500,
in the
yeah,
day.
exactly. Since the
that
500.
blew my mind when that mixer came out. It blew my little DJ mind when the owner of the club I was playing at the time, like was 99 or something. He bought a DJM 500 back from a trade show and installed it. We had this like 20-year-old crappy mixer before, and he drops in the 500. It was like a spaceship. And like the thing with Pioneer stuff, that 500 feels fundamentally the same as a 900 Nexus 2. Like everything's kind of laid out in a similar way.
It hasn't,
Everything
a lot of it hasn't changed.
Same.
Yeah,
It's got
exactly.
the same feel to it. And even the V10, like this V10, you sort of look at it and you think that is some kind of different beast over here. It's not really. Like the effects still work in a very similar way. You know, there's lots of stuff that's very, very similar, right back to that 500 back in the day. And so for me, I've always appreciated that consistency of Pioneer DJ stuff. I just feel comfortable on it. And so for me to kind of make this jump to the Denon thing was like, that was a big step for me, because I bought CDJ 2000 Nexus 2s in like 2012, and I went all in on the standalone USB stick thing. I'd been a Serato user since 2000, for years and years, deep in Serato, and then this USB stick thing clicked for me, and I was like, this is it. And that's when I started to learn, not to learn, but like to think about how I work with my collection and cutting my, do I need all this music with me? Can I do a whole set from a 128 gig stick? Can I do a whole set now from a 64 gig stick? Can I do a whole open format set from a 32 gig stick? Turns out you can.
You absolutely
and
can.
If you like clever with your playlists and the way you work with stuff, like you can find your way around the players real quick. It just takes a bit of if you're used to having this laptop and all the music there, it's a different way of working. But like, that's what I mean. You don't have to do it all in one thing, but there's always exciting. I find that different restrictions bring different creativity to you. Like working within parameters, like, okay, I've only got 128 gigabyte of music, and I have this little screen on this player, and I have to work with that. How can I use that to make me more creative rather than seeing it as some kind of handicap? How can I actually, 2 decks and a mixer? That's why I like playing on 45s. I love 45s because it's so restrictive. I've got 3.5 minutes and that record's done. I've got to put another record on quick, and there's no like different remixes. It's got an A side and a B side. There's no other choice, like one or the other. And I can only do so much with it. Like that that restriction, I find, makes me more creative as a DJ. It makes me think about what I'm going to play next in a different way too. So you guys know what I do. I love DJ technology and I love all aspects of it. I love vinyl sets, streaming, USB sticks, laptops, Serato, Phase, all it. I love all of it because I just love the act of DJing. Like it brings me joy like nothing else. Like nothing else, but apart from my kids and my wife, obviously. Don't tell them I said the DJ thing first. But like, you know what I mean? I love DJing and I love exploring all the aspects of it. So it really annoys me when people seem to be afraid of trying different stuff. Like, try something else. Try different software. Like, if you've been on Serato for 10 years, Serato's fantastic, but why not try a bit of different software? Especially in this past year when we've been in lockdown, you haven't got any gigs. Try something different. Just give it a go. I just, for me, I'm always looking for that next thing that gets me hyped to DJ in a different way. It's like that Play Differently Model 1 mixer. Now this, I've got it in the drawer here.
That looks sick. The Model 1. Want to acknowledge the chat real quick. Big up chat. I see y'all ticking around. That's super dope of y'all. We'll get to your questions
ridiculous.
in a sec.
It's got no crossfader. It's got no EQs. It's just got filters on it. And like it totally works in a different way from any other mixer that I've ever used. But it makes me play in a different way. And I like that. It makes me think about how I'm working with sound, how I'm blending things together, how I'm working with effects, because it's got different effects kind of way of working. I like to be challenged from that regard, not because I'm like the perfect DJ with any format, but because I just like to try new shit.
The frequency isolation on that is amazing. The fact that it has the notch EQ on it, and just being able to separate bass and mid bass like that is actually something that's usually only in a console mixer, not necessarily in a DJ mixer. The frequency isolation on that mixer is incredible, and I could see folks who are playing specific genres of music where you have long drawn out mixes where you can play with the frequencies and bring certain frequencies in and out over periods of a longer period of time than say like a 4-bar quick mix hip hop thing.
Can I give you my prediction for what's coming next? The next wave.
I want to hear it.
DJ technology. EQs are dead. Filters are the way forward. EQs are done. Like, you watch. I've been bigging up all over socials. AMC, right? Who is arguably the best drum and bass DJ alive today, right?
Yep.
Arguably. Andy C and him kind of
just took the title from Andy C literally in the D&B Awards. Yeah, go ahead.
But his latest set that he did for D&B TV or Drum and Bass Arena,
yep.
He's on the V10 and he doesn't touch the EQs, not once. High pass filter all day.
Yep.
And you watch Andy C play. I watched Andy C up close, like early or late 2019. I watched Andy C at a club from the booth, right? And that was great. Again, zone filters, high pass filter all day. Like, I think EQs are a bit of a wasted tool in many respects. If you've got a filter that you can adjust the resonance on to your exact taste, actually
That's the
taking
key.
out the
That's
low
the
end
key.
with a filter
Exactly.
is a better sound than trying to do bass EQ, then a bit of mid EQ, and then a bit, you know. I think filters are the wave of the future. I think that's how we're all going to be blending in the future.
So
So
the
don't be
space,
surprised.
the low, mid, and high is going to be like customizable stuff for filters. You think?
I think maybe adjustable shelf, like cut-off point for your high pass,
Yep.
and adjustable
resonance
and I
so it doesn't
think-
scream as much. Right.
Like a wet and
Yeah,
dry.
and I think that is once you've gone down that road. Like I do it with the V10 now, I do it with the Model 1.4, and I try and do it with other mixers as well. I just try and use a high pass filter and nothing else, and that it gives a difference to the sound, which just a regular taking the bass out with the EQ. Because I got to that point where I was like, you know, there's that real kind of rote way of DJing that you watch loads of streams and it's or like videos on YouTube, and it's like, right, I'm gonna turn the bass down, bring this track in, and then I'm gonna do the blend, and then I'm gonna turn the bass down on the other one and turn the bass up on this one. I think that's dead. To me,
Right.
that's a dead technique. That's
Right.
dead. I'm sick of that technique, especially watching like house DJs and stuff do it. It's just dead to me. Like, why all the time just the bass EQ in, bass EQ out? That I'm tired of that.
I think
And so for me, that filter gives a better sound than that.
I think that when the filters first came out and everybody wanted to do like an exaggerated filter sweep with it, and then it became kind of like almost a gimmick that people would call out, you know, that they're overdoing that filter, right? And when actuality, what with that filter, there's a adjustable threshold on that, man, and you don't have to just wrench it all the way up and get that, you know, you don't got to filter it completely out like that.
For
What
the
he's
longest
talking
time there wasn't though, right? On
Right.
on like a DJM 900, you didn't have control of that resonance.
Right.
You just had the whack sound, and you couldn't do anything about it. But with the 900 Nexus 2 and with this new generation of mixers coming, you have that control. And actually, a filter is an EQ.
Right.
It is you're filtering frequencies out. It's not about that screaming, howling effect. And I think DJs are starting to understand that. And I think manufacturers are starting to understand that. So for me, that's the next wave. And I give everyone, you know, that's my challenge to you. If you currently use EQs all the time, try and just use high pass filter for your blend and see how it sounds to you. Because I think on a lot of people might be pleasantly surprised with that.
I don't know if you remember on the 62, they allowed you to go in to the resonance and completely remove, they called it the whistle, the filter whistle.
Right.
So you got nice flat EQs. And that's when I started doing that. And then when I moved to the 72, my top Serato effect is a hard pass filter. And I put it 2 notches over. And it's the same thing. When I hit an echo on that and then hit the combo knob filter on the echo out while it's echoing, it's like one of the lushest, like kind of smooth, rounded off corners finishes you can put on a mix.
Luscious, he said. Do y'all hear that? He said luscious.
Luscious.
The old
Luscious. It's luscious.
Yeah, all about high pass echo. That's my dream right there. High pass echoes all day. Like Jazzy Jeff. I remember with the 909, I remember seeing Jazzy Jeff at Fabric London, probably around 2004. And I'd never seen him live before. And he was on the 909 and he was echoing
Favorite
everything
mixer.
out. And literally that changed my DJ life after that. Because I'd never done an echo out in my life. I didn't know such a thing existed. And what I couldn't figure out, I bought a EFX 500 and a 707. You know, they're like the little brother to the 909. Got them off
Yep.
eBay used. And like, I couldn't figure out what Jeff had been doing because he seemed to be doing the echo without doing anything. Like he just dropped the fader, and I didn't realize that ducking echo was a thing on the 909. And like now that's back on the S11, and it's like, oh yeah, this is the jam right here. Like this is that ducking echo is just the way, man. Just hands free, drop the fader, boom, echoes in. I love that stuff.
Even though like I'm probably the only open format DJ using Pioneer Record Box Performance Mode as my DVS, I think it's only me and Warren Peace. I think we're the only two in the world. But one thing that I have come to really enjoy as part of my workflow in Record Box Performance Mode is the pad effects. Oh yeah, E-Rock too. I forgot E-Rock as well. I really enjoy the pad effects, and even though the paddles and everything for the S9 and the S11 are super dope ways of using onboard effects, I really feel like Serato is missing a key feature for a lot of DJs who are using Serato. They're missing out on the pad effect stuff with Rekordbox Performance, because I find that stuff super handy for doing things like an echo out, or even be able to stack multiple effects by literally pressing 4 different buttons and you're doing 4 different effects at the same time. Like, that shit is dope to me. I have a lot of fun creating with that. Have any of you guys messed with that at all? The pad effects in Rekordbox DJ Performance? I see E-Rock shaking his head.
I mean, so
Stuck on mute. Yeah, I have.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I've used it a lot for the slicer and some of the other ones, and then I was trying to, before I got to the CDJs, I was trying to actually reprogram a ton of them to do a few other things. But
the slicer is available in Serato. What I'm talking about is like there's like literally you can press a button and it echoes out the track, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Or you can there's also you can set a timed gate that say it stutters the song at like a quarter note or an eighth note, and if you combine that with a reverb and some filtering, like you're fully flexing on that track at that point. Like if you're and it creates a really desired effect for something kind of cool to happen on that one little spot that you want it to happen at, right?
It's weird, just off his MOJAXX's conversation earlier, I was reading through all of this right now through the Rekordbox and some of the S9 stuff, trying to figure out how could I actually start using some more of these filter ideas, maybe with the pads and some of the other stuff that we're just now discussing. Very relevant, actually, but that's a really neat thing. I'm trying to figure out if the filter at the moment is adjustable via the knob. Can I change the resonance out there, or am I going to have to use a pad like we're discussing?
DJ Space says you can do all that stuff in Serato DJ with a Pioneer controller. Kind of. The flexibility in Rekordbox DJ is actually a lot deeper because the pad editing on Rekordbox DJ is fully open. Like you can control your damn lights with the with the performance pads. And it's,
I think he's talking about like the Serato
effects is a very specific thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The Serato effects are cool, and they have their own little things about doing like, a filtered, decay, like, just there's a combo like echo filter, and like there's cool shit that's like built into like the Serato effects, but it's a little obviously a little something different than we're talking.
A little bit different.
I have a wish list. My wish list for Serato, and I still love Serato. And when
if you don't start with roll out, I'm deleting you.
Well, I was going to say, right, I use, for me, Rekordbox DVS ain't the one. Like Rekordbox is the one for library management and using with CDJs and stuff. For DVS, I'm Serato all day, forever. Yeah. It's like a comfortable pair of sneakers. Like I just put it on. I know where I'm at. But for me, Serato's whole effects thing just needs starting over, fresh. It's been basically the same since Serato DJ came out in like 2013 or something like that. It's been exactly the same. It needs new effects, a new way of working, because all these products are coming out now with these paddles. And that's the thing, like, those paddles did not exist when these current effects paradigms were created. Those paddles weren't a thing. And now you've got even like $150 Newmark mix track controller comes with paddles. So let's see some changes to the Serato effects to accommodate these new ways of working, bring in the rollout that Joshua Cole really wants still.
I've been waiting, man.
For me, the echoes don't really, they're not cutting the mustard for me.
Right.
As an Echo fan, I always prefer a Pioneer hardware Echo or whatever over the Serato one.
You could shape it better.
I want to use Serato's effects more than I do right now. I don't really touch them. I use hardware and that's it. I want to be in love with Serato's effects. So I really hope that that's part of their game plan, is to just let's start those effects over, rethink the whole idea of it, and let's do something special with it, because there's room for like Rekordbox has got some cool stuff going on with effects. DJ's got some cool stuff. Like there's all, and I still love Tractor's like tape delay is like my favorite effect. Does this really weird thing when you put the time down really short. It does like this rattlesnake thing, and I love that kind of vibe. So there's all they could take inspiration from a lot of places. Let's have some new Serato effects.
Innovation.
Mr.
Yes,
I gotta give a shout out at this point to the big eye-opening effect of 2020, in my opinion, and that was algorithm DJ and virtual DJ having that stem separation, the AI feature. I would love to see more of that creativity going into some of these the higher flagship softwares as well. I would like to see that stem separation feature available in Serato and Rekordbox. That seems like a really cool, innovative idea for creative DJing, especially open format DJs who want to throw a DIY acapella type situation on top of a tune to have fun. And you could do that with mixed results with this AI technology, but it's super fun to be creative with. The reason I'm on Rekordbox Performance is not because I'm planting the flag in the sand. It has to do with timing. I was diehard Serato for many years as an open format DJ, and then I want to say it was 2017. I bought a new MacBook Pro, and the current version of Serato DJ. This is right before Serato DJ Pro. The current version of Serato DJ was not working on this new laptop. And it was probably because of the operating system or something. Serato was like a little bit behind on developing their app it was, like I said, it was right before Serato DJ Pro came out. I remember that. And so I put Rekordbox on because I needed something. I needed to use this new laptop and I needed something that worked, and Rekordbox worked, right? So I installed Rekordbox, I started using it, and the reason I stuck with it, two reasons. One, I didn't want to fucking move my library again because that was a pain in the ass. But two, the single library situation made all sense in the world to me, because before then, being an open format DJ and also doing drum and bass, I would go to the drum and bass gig with USB sticks and a couple USB sticks and a pair of headphones. I would not bring my laptop to a gig that is an hour long. It just made no sense to me. I preferred my laptop for gigs that were 4 hours long, where I needed that quick user interface on a laptop. Like MOJAXX was saying earlier, you get accustomed to that workflow and you really rely on a search engine that's super fast and keyboard shortcuts and just a laptop type of interface for quick movement on a 4-hour set. That size of navigating, that size of a library, I still prefer a laptop interface. But for a DJ set where I'm playing an hour of music, and, let's talk about it. Generally within 5 BPM to 10 BPM range, right? How many songs am I really going to play in an hour? And do I really need to bring all of my entire my music library, my laptop library to this gig? No. And on top of that, some of these gigs I'm playing at, I mentioned earlier, the drum and bass room is room 404. We're in the fucking kitchen. We're outside in the dirt. We're in the room that is not really a room. It's 4 walls and a ceiling that were created for this room, right? We're low priority. And so it's not uncommon for that room to not be the best environment for a brand new shiny MacBook Pro. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
exactly.
One of the best things I ever heard about, or somebody ever told me about that, was the more you bring, the more you dig through, and the more you spend time-wise as a DJ digging through said junk. If you strip it down to 50 tunes, it takes that long to dig through, right?
Especially
that's done. Ever since then, I've just followed the motto and backing up exactly what you guys are saying here, right?
So circling back, the reason I'm on Rekordbox still is because I've grown accustomed to just having everything in one library, and that's one of their selling points. Is that you can bring you can export this playlist to a USB stick and take it to this gig, or you can bring your laptop and it'll work as a DVS in this situation. It'll work as a Rekordbox DJ on a controller in this situation. It's all managed under the same library.
That sealed the deal for me. Yeah, going from managing the cue points and everything, Serato at home for the internet radio station and everything else, and then going out and being on the Pioneer platform all night and having to go back to Rekordbox. I was like, well, you make a DVS? Great. I'm over there. I'm done. I only want to do it once.
So that's what's got me hanging on to Rekordbox at this point. And
it was a comment.
Oh my god!
It was a comment in the chat.
Yeah, that's what LW uses.
Was that MV1, right?
Yeah.
It's his couch. It's his couch trophy.
It's my background.
He's the one who bought that. He's that one guy who bought that.
I didn't.
Yeah, Joshua Carlos.
I know one more person, so there's 2 of them out there. There's 2 of them out there.
Did you say LW was in the chat?
No, I said LW.
Bought it.
Oh. Yeah, El Double got one of those big ones too.
Wow.
I got through sets on it because I wanted to learn record box. I'm that guy that's like, I never want to show up and have someone be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, you have to use this. Being the nerd I am, I want to be like, yeah, I got you. Just go and be like, so I wanted to learn record box, and I wanted to, I'm in pandemic. What else do I got to do? So I just
Learn
dove
record
in
box and
and
the Orient board. Let's go. Like
I've learned more software in the last year than I'd care to admit.
Hey Billy, big
And
up,
one
man.
thing that makes me happy is that we've
You
got
out, Eric?
now
Hey, E-Rock.
more of a relationship.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations
Thank
on
you
getting
guys
married.
again, man.
Big up E-Rock, Dallas, Texas. Appreciate you, brother.
Didn't mean to interrupt. Thank you guys. I'll
The
see you
wedding
guys
cake,
later.
the wedding cake is gonna taste gross in a year from now anyway.
She's like, nope, not
ready.
doing it. She
Okay,
said
good.
already, I'm in the
it's-
clear.
It's gross. Just,
Big ups, guys. Thanks again. See y'all later.
Shouts out to DJ Burger King Whopper in the chat. Just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say that. Amazing.
I honestly want a Whopper right now. Just you saying Whopper, my mouth literally said,
I'm
okay, put
I'm
Whopper
so
in.
fat. God damn it. I'm just like, I want to really go for Burger King right now.
What were you saying, MOJAXX?
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, it's great now that we have more products coming through with Serato and record box support. Like, there was a time when there was like the DDJ SX and the DDJ RX. Like, you had to choose one or the other. It was Serato or the record box.
That was
and
it.
now, wow, damn, back in the day, old school. Is that the AM one?
No, it's
Is that the
it's
AM? Oh.
it's a 12-inch Skins Jared special.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like the S11, the S7, recent controllers and all-in-ones and stuff, they've all got Serato and record box support, and that's great because people should have the option. If you go and play at a club that has an S11, you should be able to use record box if you're a record box kind of guy. You know what I mean? You should have that choice. So I'm really pleased that's gone that way. Especially me who uses all of it. Like that makes me happy to have that kind of choice. I think it's important. Standards are important. Like just locking off a certain bit of gear for one bit of software, for me, it's not the one. Like, everything should be available to everybody.
I'm not one to talk shit, but I'm gonna talk some shit real quick. This is not that bad. On Mondays, pre-COVID on Mondays, my homie DJ Epic and we did this thing called Motown on Mondays in Sacramento. Very successful night. Hopefully we can get back to it as soon as possible when things open back up. And at Motown on Mondays, it's a DJ MS9. Well, was a DJ MS9 and a couple 1200s. And we were absolutely able to run Serato side-by-side record box on USB ports A and B, and it worked great. I was even able to use his Serato control vinyl if I needed to, even though we usually would flip records and headphones when we would back-to-back. And we were able to do a side-by-side, some of you guys know where this is going, a side-by-side sound quality comparison using the same media, the same file, with both the Serato and record box on USB ports A and USB ports B. And I gotta say, the record box driver edged out Serato by a little bit. I gotta say, and maybe
thought that might be going the other way.
And maybe it's attributed to Pioneer designing drivers to work with their own hardware versus Serato, being a license-based company that licenses their software to multiple hardware manufacturers. I don't know if they're
Like Kanye keeping all the good beats for himself. Is that
well,
what
when you're designing in house and you're designing with a specific product line in mind, maybe you can be a little bit more specific with the design versus somebody who's designing something that has to be licensed across multiple hardware manufacturers and different designed hardware. I don't know what it was or what it wasn't, but we did a fair controller test. Controller meaning known good source. Not the DJ controller, but meaning like we had a good source to test. Yeah, controlled environment. And it was, Dustin and I agreed, Epic and I agreed that it edged it out just a little bit when it came to the sound quality being output on these QSC speakers that we were using. So
there is a difference in sound between software. I've been watching a lot of TC, the drum and bass producer. He's been doing TC Talks, where he's talking to different drum and bass producers. Fantastic show, love it, right? And he always asks them what DAW they're using, And there is a sort of a consensus, it seems, across the industry that Ableton has a certain sound compared to Logic, for it being the main example, and Ableton doesn't sound as good as Logic. Like there is a difference in the way that different software, translates different audio. I'm
you know how much I'm smiling right now? I used to work for Apple. I used to work for Apple in the professional applications department. I did for 5 years, and I was tech support for Logic for a very long time. So you're making me smile right now because I'm Apple certified in Logic Pro. I love Logic Pro. Logic Pro is my DAW. And I feel like a dinosaur because everybody is fucking using Ableton now, and I feel like I'm the last guy using Logic. And a lot of
you're
DAW
not
workers.
though, according to TC.
According to TC, right?
Not the one guy. Everyone's on Logic, like for real. But like, I don't know. For me, Ableton is a functionality thing. I used Ableton for the best part of 20 years. The aesthetic of it, the way it works, fits my mind, my workflow in my head very nicely. Whereas Logic to me feels like more traditional kind of composition kind of software, and that as a non-musician, that kind of scares me off. I never dug Cubase or Pro Tools. I've tried all of them at some point. Right. But like for me, Ableton was just the one that fit. But now it makes me sad to think that maybe my stuff doesn't sound quite as good as it could. Because I only do edits. I don't do production, but I do edits, and I'm like, maybe they would sound better if I did them in Logic.
Well, I've heard of workflows where pre-production happens in Ableton, but then when it comes to the final mix, you're going to a Pro Tools HD Studio or a Logic Studio, usually Pro Tools HD, to get that final mix and master. But there you go. Audio One just chimed in and said this exactly what I was just saying. A lot of producers, they pre-produce in Ableton and then master it in Logic, which is very true. And I could see that workflow. I see that workflow a lot. And big up to all the producers in here and all those cutting edits and stuff like that. That's the next level shit. And y'all should really be aspiring to do that to some degree. And I'm not saying that you're bad for not doing it. I'm just saying it's a natural progression when you get into DJing, you get into the specific type of music that you like. Now you want to play it a certain way. You start making edits. You start making your own versions of songs. Maybe you even start, creating your own kind of blends and mashups and things like that. And it all just turns into all the way down to now I'm going to flip through a folder full of 500 kick drums and try to find the exact right sound.
The one.
Yeah, exactly. And big up to those who are going down that rabbit hole because it's a daunting but rewarding experience.
It's fucking scary sometimes, man.
I think we probably should wrap quite soon.
We're ready to wrap. I'm already
looking
looking for it.
But I'm thinking about the whole, YouTube 3-hour video, the amount of timestamps you're gonna have to throw in this thing, and that's probably enough. But I got one topic which we're all guys here, right? This is like locker room talk. We can have a bit of this.
On the internet, sure. It's not permanent or anything.
I was doing my stream last night, and I've got this fear about going back out to DJ live in front of people because I've become very accustomed to being on my own in a room when I DJ, and like I was farting like a bastard last night, like all through the set. Like the room was like it was dense, right? I'm really concerned.
Yo, when did MOJAXX get a fogger?
I'm really concerned.
Are those decks floating right now? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yo, these effects are insane. I can see the lasers
in the corner of the bar, and I'm just gonna, without thinking about it, I'm just gonna let rip.
Liquid drum and bass going straight foghorn and just like 0 to foghorn.
Yeah. What kind of concerns do you have in that regard? Like going out, actually being in rooms with other people to DJ, is that on a serious note? Like for me,
I've been
that's
blowing ass at my gigs this whole time. I just turn the music up louder and blame it on the person next to me. They don't know it's me.
People think we're doing this because we're hot. That's not
my
it.
own farts. I'll live with it. I'll live with my own farts. Y'all got to suffer, dude. I'll be fine.
Oh, that's
that was a genuine concern.
MOJAXX adding spice to the mix is what Audio One said. Adding spice to the mix.
So
I'm a bit
before
too
we
comfortable
go,
here in the studio.
Audio One brought it up. When are we going to see MOJAXX on 45s?
I've done a few. The problem is I started off at home in lockdown, right?
Yeah.
And I had to DJ at night when the kids and everyone's asleep. What I cannot do, I don't have it in me. I cannot play vinyl just in the headphones. I can't.
No.
Media players, controllers, I can do that just in headphones. And then I've moved subsequently here now to the lab, but the lab is in a residential area still. So at night, I can't be pumping out drum and bass or progressive house or 45s. So again, and I just can't mix 45s without a nice big monitor sat next to me. And I can't do it. Some people can do vinyl like that. I cannot. So I have to work with my limitations, and that's the only reason. I'm looking forward to getting out to real life and playing 45s again. I love it. It's a passion of mine. But on Twitch, it's got to be stuff I can just do in the headphones.
I have a solution. I know we're going to wrap. I want to throw this out there real quick before we wrap. Twinspin actually touched on this on Sunday on the show. He was talking about monitoring completely in the headphones, and he does the same thing that I do. And I thought nobody else did this. He actually brings a small mixer with him and creates a headphone mix.
Creates a split cube.
Yeah, and so what he does is he'll run the headphone out of the DJ mixer into that separate headphone mix, and then he'll run the booth output also into that mixer. Okay, so now you have control of both sides. I go a step further because the on the Mackie mixer that I use, it's a little miniature little Mackie mixer. It's like a little three channel Mackie mixer. One of the inputs is RCA, and so I go headphone jack out into only one side of the RCA jack, and it's the side that I use to cue. For me, it's my left ear, right? And so when I have both headphones on, if I adjust the booth level on the mixer, I'm hearing it in both ears. And then if I press the cue and adjust the headphone mix, I'm only hearing it in my left ear as if I was hearing it in that ear. And so now I've recreated the environment of having a full encompassing monitoring, but then still being able to cue in that one ear that I'm used to beat matching. And I can level it so that it's, leveled enough so it's not overpowering and confusing me as to what adjustments I need to make to keep things on time. Definitely something
I've never been able to mix in my headphones. I don't know how you guys do.
I can't either.
How you guys do. Obviously, that's how you do it. You know?
Give that a shot with the I used to do it for silent discos. That's where I needed the solution, was for silent discos, because it was driving me crazy trying to use the split cue that comes with the mixer, or comes on most Pioneer mixers, and it's not
split cues never work for me.
It's
I
not
can't do split
not
cues.
quite right.
It's not right.
So creating my own monitor mix and then having it so that the booth is in both ears and then my cue is in this ear, and then it's still just this. I don't even touch the mixer after that. I'm literally controlling everything from my normal DJ controller, because cue turns on the cue, and I booth and headphone levels both respond accordingly. And so if you start to forget, that you're totally in your headphones, because the workflow feels really natural to how you normally would if you were monitoring in a live room. So worth checking out.
I'm gonna try that.
Word up.
I showed up to a silent disco with a monitor. They didn't think it was a little tiny.
I did too.
Little Alesis thing, and I just literally just put it right in front of me.
Yeah. So did everybody start dancing around your fucking monitor?
Well, they're all dancing with their headphones on, and there's me in the corner, and it's basically sounds like somebody rapping on an empty can. Like that's all you hear.
All right. Speaking of rapping, we're gonna raid my man Root for Villains. I already wrote the love letter. It's really easy. I need everyone, for those that don't know, what we do before we raid is we write a love letter to show love to the person we're raiding. And I ask that everybody in the chat, even if you've never typed a certain thing, copy and paste this into his chat. I want you to test it right now. Just type "too many heroes, not enough villains." Please copy that and paste that into the chat right now as a test paste. Make sure that it works. Go ahead and flood it. Once we raid Root for the Villains, I want everybody to just spam the shit out of his chat with this. And that way we can definitely break the internet by raiding Root for Villains. Before we go, I want to thank, first of all, the panel for sticking around. Big up Joshua Carl, big up Darth Vader, big up Catch 22. Y'all are the varsity squad. Appreciate y'all. And of course, thank you one more time for carving out part of your day and blessing us with your presence, the one and only MOJAXX. Thank you very much.
Yes. And congrats for the 1 year. Congratulations. And love what you're doing on here. Love it. Love what you guys are all doing individually. I love this. This is amazing. This wouldn't have happened without Twitch. Yeah. So, as much as 2020 was shite, there's been some good stuff that's come out of it, and this is one of those things. So congratulations to you guys for keeping this. Yeah, looking forward to the second birthday.
Hold it.
There you
Hold
go.
it. Perfect. I'm gonna clip the shit out of that. That's my validity right there. That's my fucking my gold star of approval to anybody who doubts this
The
young
next
jungle.
partner application, there it is. MOJAXX says it's good.
Right?
He's back to square one on that. He needs to start right over. Surprised I let him stay affiliate.
MOJAXX says good. Check.
We're rating
Which
Root
says
for
Bun
Villains.
Billy Lane.
Oh shit. Big up y'all for locking in. We'll be back on Wednesday. We're going to do a St. Patrick's Day celebration on Wednesday. We're just going to look at old videos from the past year of DJs Not DJing, have
Can
a
you
laugh,
dress up?
jump in the Zoom. You could dress up, absolutely.
No, I'm
It's
saying
gonna-
you should, like an award show, like a clip show. I think that'd be hilarious. You should
I'll-
wear
I'm
like a
down.
suit or
Oh,
something.
there you go. Yeah.
I'm down. I'll put on a green suit just for the fucking occasion. It's going to be the St. Patrick's Day party version. Since we had our formal episode today, we're going to have a very informal episode on Wednesday. Everybody's invited to come in and join in, be a part of it. Thank you to everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody chiming in. I apologize we couldn't get to every comment. In fact, we ignored the chat quite a bit this episode, which is totally off brand, and I apologize. It was not on purpose. We are just trying to,
That's my fault, I expect. Sorry.
blame it on MOJAXX. Blame it on MOJAXX.
Blame it on MOJAXX.
Yeah. Big up to Special Tater. Big up to everybody for
MOJAXX.
following. Big up Dick and Smack for the gifting tier 1. We're rating out. Peace, y'all.
Later.
And we rated. Perfect.
Yay.